Exclusive live coverage of Atlantic Coast Conference football. Today from Grant Field in Atlanta, Georgia, it's the Wolfpack of NC State against the Ramblin' Wreck from Georgia Tech. Brought to you by Jefferson Pilot Corporation, dedicated to life and the things that make it worth living. By Natural Light Beer, the beer with a taste for food. By Food Lion, America's fastest growing supermarket chain. And by NCNB, the people who work to be the best bank in the neighborhood.
A nearly perfect day for football. Temperatures in the low 70s with a light breeze at Grant Field in Atlanta. The Wolfpack of North Carolina State will take the field with an overall record of 2-2. They're 0-1 in the Atlantic Coast Conference. And for head coach Tom Reed and his football team, a pivotal game of the 1984 season. It's quite a different story for Georgia Tech. The Ramblin' Wreck is back. A 3-0 start, reminiscent of the great clubs of Bobby Dodd. And Bill Curry has resurrected the program in the tradition of the man he played for here at Grant Field. I'm Mike Patrick, and it's great to have you with us along our ACC Football Network again this afternoon. As usual, it's my pleasure to be working with Kevin Kiley. And Kevin, Georgia Tech comes in here with some great offensive statistics. Number 1 in the ACC. They're 8th in the country.
Special treat for us today to see the Georgia Tech offense, the great offensive line. Robert Levette, genuine Heisman candidate. Not a big back, not a physical back, but a guy that can really hurt you offensively. John Dewberry comes in this year, a new quarterback, more consistency, more confidence, gets the job done.
They are also number 1 in the league in defense, but it is not a big physical defense that you'll see today.
It's a defense that stretches, as they say, but doesn't break, but they can be had. They had a bad quarter last week against Clemson. Clemson came back inside them. A defense that North Carolina State wants to keep on the field and control the ball again.
North Carolina State, the strength of their offense has been the ground game.
They have a great ground game. They have 3 excellent tailbacks. Vince Evans last week, 200 yards. Joe Green, probably the guy that nobody knows about, a breakaway runner. And, of course, McIntosh been out with a hamstring, but he'll be back today.
And, of course, when you take a look at the North Carolina State defense, the problem has been they have not been able to stop anybody, especially on the ground.
Tough matchup for State today against the great offensive line of Georgia Tech. They need to put a dent in that rushing game of Georgia Tech. Today, that's the key to the game.
It's a perfect day and could be a great game. Georgia Tech against NC State, back with a kickoff right after this. Here are the officials for today's game. Your referee is C.C. Daly. North Carolina State has won the toss. They have elected to kick off. They will then get their choice of kicking or receiving in the second half. Mike Cofer will be the man to kick it away for North Carolina State as they will start on defense. And there is your deep man, Sammy Lilly, 5'9". He is a sophomore, standing at his goal line, and we are set to go from Grant Field in Atlanta, Georgia. Cofer, Lilly at the goal line. 20, got to the 23, had good blocking up the middle, just tripped up. 24-yard kickoff return, and Georgia Tech will start from its own 24-yard line.
Take a look at the backfield. Dewberry, we talked about him, great quarterback. Levette is the game breaker here. Easley will start in place of Blanton today. Watch out. And Wisenhut, an excellent blocker and receiver.
And they give it to Levette off the right side. Only got maybe 2 yards. Pat Teague was the first man in there to get him from his left linebacker spot. And left tackle Raymond Phillips also in there to stack him up.
Man to watch on the offensive line, John Davis. They say the center, maybe the best lineman Tech has ever had. Capano, an all-ACC performer, maybe. They say he could make all-ACC this year.
Second down, 8 yards to go, Georgia Tech. They send both wide receivers to the left side. Now they'll switch them back to the right. strong side to the lower part of your picture. Again, the toss to Levette. Blockers in front. Gets to about the 28, maybe 29-yard line. Dwayne Green and Albert Miller up to make the stop. Green is the free safety.
They talk about this great offensive line. Let's see what they do. Watch Levette behind the black shirts. They make a hole for him. He turns upfield, picks up 3 or 4 yards. The key to the game, we talked about it in the open, the NC State defensive line has to handle the black shirts on the offensive line.
3rd and 5. They split the backs. Levette and Easley behind Newberry. And Newberry wants to throw his first pass of the game and completes it to his split end. Daryl Norton cutting over the middle. First down, Georgia Tech.
Excellent protection for Newberry on that play. The man was wide open. The offensive line won that particular battle. State's got to do different things on defense. Take a look at the defense. That's a center nose guard, Winstead, in place of the injured nose guard for NC State. He is a key. He has to do a good job against Davis.
First down of the ball game for Georgia Tech. They are the #1 offensive and defensive units in the Atlantic Coast Conference. This is easily the big 235-pound fullback who just bowled up the middle. And Kevin, boy, did they blow a hole in the middle that time.
We talked about Davis. We talked about Winstead. This is the key. Watch the center right in front of the quarterback. Look at the hole that opens up. Double team on Winstead, the middle guard. And Easley picks up big yardage. Easley not as good a blocker as Blanton, but an excellent runner. That's why he's in there.
17-yard carry and a first down for Georgia Tech at the state 45-yard line. Send Pearson in motion and give it to Levette off the left side, trying to get outside. He'll get about 3 before he steps out of bounds at the North Carolina State 43-yard line.
These are the linebackers. Bush, the best athlete on the team. Franklin is a little bit short as a linebacker. They may throw over him, and Pat Teague, the leading tackler on the team. We'll hear a lot from Pat Teague. Defensive secondary, they'll get a workout today, especially with play action. If Tech is able to run, these guys will have a lot of pressure on them.
Flanker back to the right is Darrell Wise. The tight end, Wisenhunt, goes to the right side. And they'll run it out of the eye. On 2nd down and 8 yards to go. Easley again. Look at this hole. And this guy can really roll when he gets in the open. Easley with a first down just outside the state 25-yard line. Jeff Geathers was the man who had to run him out of bounds. And boy, Easley looks tough this time.
And so does Davis, the center. Take a look at him on Winstead. He stands him up. The pursuit overruns, as you see at the top of your screen. Winstead still not in the play. John Davis, maybe the best offensive lineman ever for Tech, and Easley not doing a bad job either.
He comes in at 292 pounds, the center of a big Georgia Tech offensive line. 1st and 10 from the state 26. This is the opening drive. The fake to Easley, Dewberry on the option to Levette. Levette inside the 20. Wisenhunt out there trying to block for him, and Frank Bush knocked him down.
What does the option do for an offense? It spreads the defense out. It makes the defense go one-on-one. Take a look. They fake up the middle. They've been having success. Tie up some white shirts. Look at all the green space out here for Levette. This guy, don't give this guy room. He'll give you trouble. He picks up good yardage. 2nd down, about 2 yards to go. He picked up 8.
Officially, it's 2nd and 3. Ball at the 18-yard line. Out of the eye. Easley is the front man. Levette has the football. Good block from Easley and gets to the 15-yard line. Easley not rated as a good a blocker as Keith Blanton, the man who has started at fullback, Kevin, but he threw a pretty good block on that play.
That was like a screen block. Mike Blanton is a guy who's not big and strong but has great technique, and he's able to make better blocks. But Easley has shown he can run with the ball, and Tech's offense doesn't fall off too much. The guy who's liable to be hurt by Easley being in there is Levette, because Blanton is the guy that cracks holes for Levette.
One wide receiver on this play, and it's the flanker back Darrell Wise. They'll run out of the eye with 2 tight ends on 1st and 10 from the state 15. Levette, their favorite play on the toss, getting outside and just tripped up, and will have a flag, and it looks like a clip as Nelson Jones, the cornerback, cut down Robert Levette, but it looked like there was a clip in the secondary. And that's the preliminary signal.
Very aggressive offense for Tech. This type of thing will happen.
And it It looked like Darrell Wise, the flanker, trying to come back from that flanker spot. He was the only wide out. He may have been the one that got in the clip.
Well, you don't want to slow down your team by telling them not to be aggressive, but there is a fine line, and if you exceed that line, you get a penalty.
Gary Lee, a sophomore wide receiver, is checking the ball game for Georgia Tech.
First down.
Call was a clip, and it's 1st and 25. Tech moved back to the North Carolina State 27-yard line.
State plays a hit and react defense. They did on that play. They hit and they got outside and made the play. It was good defense by State.
Norton, the wide receiver to the left. Lee is the man in the slot. And Dewberry to throw against the blitz, out to Levette. What a great call against the blitz, and Robert Levette loose inside the 15 to about the 13-yard line. And if it had not been for Nelson Jones, it was a touchdown, Georgia Tech. Great call.
If you're in a defensive huddle before this play, you should be looking for it. They do this all the time, and you're right, Mike. The perfect call, little swing pass to Levette. And again, a nice job by the Tech defense here, holding up Levette a little bit and making the tackle. Nelson Jones, a great play. Okay, on this play, what you want to do, you want to hold him up and slip outside. See how Davis did? He made a block, gets outside, makes another block, and now he's looking for somebody else.
Back to live action. It's 2nd and 8 after a big pickup. And Levette on the toss again. Cuts inside, then back outside to about the 7-yard line. Dwayne Green, the free safety, had to stop him. And if people thought that Georgia Tech was a fluke, you can see on this first offensive drive, there is nothing flukish about this offense.
Offensive powerhouse. John McCrory made a great play on this, meeting the block. Take a look at McCrory in the bottom of your screen, and then a block by Easley. Again, kind of a push screen block. Gives Levette some room. Up he goes, picks up good yardage.
Big play, 3rd and 3. Wisenhunt shifts to the right end. Number 9, the tight end. Dewberry wants to run the option again. He'll keep it, get to the 5, the 4, and that should be good enough for the first down before Mark Franklin, the inside linebacker, number 48, made the tackle.
It's a terrific job by Mark Franklin there. What he did was he faked going on the pitch man, came back on the quarterback. Now, Tom Reed told me yesterday that he expects his defense to be on the field, but he would like them to bend, and maybe get the ball back without a score. Well, he's got the first half of that. First drive, they're bending. Now we'll see if they can stop Tech from getting in.
There is Dewberry, and that's what he did last week. What he's done so far today is carry the ball for 3 yards. Dewberry gives it up the middle, and very little gain for Easley. Reggie Singletary, who had an outstanding game a week ago against East Carolina, made the stop. Singletary made a big play in that game. The game was still in the balance, and he blindsided the quarterback and forced the fumble.
And Phillips picked it up and took off down the field. You can look for him to go over Davis here. I think they're predictable. Capano and Davis are their most valuable linemen.
2nd and goal from the 2 tight ends. Lee is the wing back in motion. They'll give it to Levette. Got to the 1. And no farther. Dwayne Green and John McCrory on the stop. Green, number 11, was standing at the goal line and took a pretty good hit.
I told you Levette is not a physical back. He's a tricky back. He needs to be physical here, and State out-physicals him right at the goal line there. Levette's only 190 pounds. When he goes to the pros, he'll probably be more of a receiver than a hard runner. So probably maybe the fullback is the guy you need to look for.
3rd and goal. Levette behind Easley. And it's Easley. I don't think he made it. The 235-pound fullback did not get it in the center of the North Carolina State defense, led by Winstead and Singletary, stacked them up. You also had Sandy Key in there, number 99.
Tom Reed said, bend but don't break. Well, they're bending, but they haven't broken yet. Take a look. They try to get State out. They don't. Easley goes up on top. There's not enough room, and all the white shirts pile over. Easley did not jump well on that either.
4th and a foot. Tech will go for the 6 points. Lee in motion. Levette, touchdown. What an impressive drive from Georgia Tech. They take the opening kickoff and march straight downfield against North Carolina State to score.
Mike, most impressive thing about that drive for Tech was that penalty. When they moved them back to about a 1st and 20, no trouble at all. They came right back, picked up the first down, and then punched it in on 4th down. Those are character builders for the offense, a little bit discouraging for the defense.
David Bell on for the conversion. Whisenhunt is the holder. Good snap, puts it down, and Whisenhunt now 10 for 10 on the year. And Georgia Tech lights up the field here at Grant Field in Atlanta. With 7 minutes and 43 seconds left to go in the first quarter. Our score is Georgia Tech 7, North Carolina State nothing.
What this play shows is the difference between Levette and Easley. Levette gets there quicker. State does a good job, but Levette just gets there and finds the seam, and that's what makes him a great back and what let him get in for the touchdown on that play. 7-0, Georgia Tech. 13 plays, 77 yards. That speaks for itself. 12-17 remaining.
And it's Nick Romanis to kick it away. No, they got David Bell out there. Bell is handling the kickoff. Usually it's Romanis, but Bell is out there to kick it away. The deep receivers, Chris Cook and Nasrallah Worthen. And Worthen is the guy to watch, number 17. He is number 1 in the ACC, 10th in the country, averages more than 25 yards a kickoff return. And after that debilitating drive, North Carolina State could use a big kick return here.
It's a big series for State, Mike. They need to establish something offensively. Whether or not they get on the board or not is not really that important. They have to show they can prove it.
Bell, low line drive kick. It gets by Worthen. He'll take it 2 yards deep and bring it out. Not this time. Gets to the 16-yard line. An 18-yard return for Nasrallah Worthen. And it's Mike Rosemilia who makes the tackle on the Georgia Tech special teams.
Esposito, hot and cold quarterback. We saw him against Wake. He didn't have a great game. Evans, over 200 yards last week. Ism is a good blocker. Brown is the leading receiver.
And Esposito back to throw on first down. A little flip out to Isom. And the fullback is wrapped up by a great defensive player, outside linebacker Pat Swilling, who did exactly what he was supposed to do and more.
Mike, in the pass hurt Isom on that play. That pass was a little bit behind him. Milinacek on the offensive line, a great tackle. Kozar, a key at center, and A.B. Richards may be the best tackle on the State team, maybe the best lineman. They need to move people out today.
No gain on that play. The complete pass from Esposito to Isom. Esposito. Good night. Ted Roof on the linebacker blitz, came through a seam and drilled him. And you will see this from the Georgia Tech defense. They gamble.
Ted Roof has some sacks this year. He's a great linebacker, a throwback type of guy. Not real quick, but he gets there, and he does on that play. Big hole. The center has to pick that thing up. Take a look at him there on a little bit of a closer look, and a good hit by Roof.
3rd down, 18. They'll give it to Evans on the draw, and Evans stopped inside his own 15-yard line. Jim Anderson on the tackle for Georgia Tech, and listen to the crowd as they give that defense a big hand. And this defense is number 1 in the ACC. They are 8th in the country. And North Carolina State will send in Salmon to punt. Fair catch called for and made by Georgia Tech. Fair catch made by Tim Malden. Let's pause now for a word from your local station. It's 7-0 Georgia Tech. 6:08 to go, first quarter. Mike Patrick and Kevin Kiley with you live from Grant Field in Atlanta on an absolutely perfect fall Saturday afternoon, and it has been perfect for Georgia Tech so far. They took the opening kickoff and drove it right down the throat of the North Carolina State Wolfpack, and now they have the ball in excellent field position at the NC State 47. Levette. Good blocking, cuts back in, still on his feet as he gets to the 41. Went down awkwardly that time as he was trying to twist away from the tackler. Benny Pegram, one of the first men in on the stop.
Big hole off the left side of this offensive line again. Look at Easley, 44. He makes a block on the outside. Nobody inside to fill, and that's because the inside of that line is cutting people off. Levette always finds the hole. He did then for 5 yards.
2nd down, 5 yards to go. Levette with 31 yards on the day. The leading ground gainer is easily 38 yards on 4 carries. Dewberry to throw. Wants to go deep. and they had Isom covered. Double coverage by NC State. Green and Jones back on the coverage, and Isom really never had a chance to get to it.
One of the improvements in Dewberry is the strength of his arm. He threw 200 to 300 balls a day in the off season. The strength in his arm. I don't know where he got all those balls, but he did it. 200 to 300 of them every single day, and it's shown a great improvement in his ability. And also, he's more aware of the defense. He knows what he sees on the other side of the ball.
3rd and 5 facing Dewberry. Wide receiver split left and right. And they'll send Pearson in motion. Fake the draw to Levette. Dewberry in trouble, got away, but he will be stopped far short of the first down. Did not make the original line of scrimmage again, and Reggie Singletary and Sandy Key were right there to bring him down. So North Carolina State's defense stiffened and held on that one.
State defense, as I said, a hit and go to the ball type of defense. Defeat the block, get off, and pursue. They don't do anything special against great backs or great receivers. They play the defense. Now, you can take advantage of that sometimes, but sometimes, as it did there, it worked.
Mike Snow is into punt, averaging 42.2 yards a kick, and Jeff Bird, standing at his own 10, may not get a chance to run this one back. Bird has missed a couple of games with a concussion. High sailing punt by Snow. Bird signals for the fair catch and makes it at his own 15-yard line. I think it was a big series of downs for the North Carolina State defense, Kevin. They were shredded up pretty well on that first possession by Georgia Tech. This time they stopped them.
A big series for the defense. Complacency doesn't seem to be a problem. We talked with Bill Curry yesterday for the Tech team. He was worried that they were going to read the newspaper, see how highly ranked they were, and maybe they'd be a little complacent.
North Carolina State coming out with a real quick play, and Esposito is in trouble. Throws sideline complete. Hit Ralph Britt, his big tight end. State tried to trick Tech a little bit. They tried to set up the offense before the defense was on the field and ready to go, and it didn't quite work.
Very odd play fake, too. Esposito goes back and he paused with his back to the defense. I've never seen anything quite like that.
He did it a couple of times in the Wake Forest game, but he carried off a better fake. He was more nonchalant about it. Esposito this time throws in the flat, complete to Isom, and there's nowhere to go. Swarm of Yellow Jackets, and they've called them the Killer Bees out here. And Roof and Anderson were right out there, the linebackers and the strong side safety, Cleve Powell.
These plays are well conceived. He's open, but a lot of these passes are a little bit off the mark, and they're having trouble catching them, having to hesitate, and the defense is able to catch up. That's what happened there. They may have been able to pick up a first down if that pass would have led them a little better.
3rd down, 4 yards to go for North Carolina State. The Wolfpack at its own 21. This is Evans. Got maybe 2 yards, and that is it. And Ted Roof standing in his way along with Pat Swilling. Roof 93 and Swilling 99 are the tackling leaders on a real gang tackling and quick Georgia Tech defense.
Roof is a great story. Roof led his team in high school in 1979 with 20 sacks and then shot 69 on the golf team in 1981. A strange combination.
Salmon to punt, high and very short. Fair catch signaled and made by Tim Maudlin at the 50-yard line. North Carolina State's punting game has gotten them in trouble before, and this time it once again puts them in poor field position. Timeout with 3:27 left to go. Georgia Tech 7, State nothing. Georgia Tech with a football at midfield. Their 3rd possession of the ball game. They scored on their first, had to punt on their second, and we have 3:27 to go in the first half. We're at Grant Field in Atlanta, a facility first built in 1914. And at that time, it seated 5,600 people. Levette got about 3. Hit hard by Mark Franklin, the inside linebacker, who got a shoulder into it.
Franklin's a good story. 5'9", 222 pounds. And you know, if they list Franklin, number 48, as 5'9", he's probably 5'7 and a half and weighs about 210. But here he is, major college football, playing linebacker.
2nd down, 7 yards to go. They like to shift the tight end a lot. It's number 9, Wismont. Dewberry gives to Levette a little counter play. He's got room to run over the right side across the 40. Might be good enough for the first down before Jeff Geathers came up from the corner to make the stop.
Linebackers have to get up to the line very quickly. Take a look at the linebackers of NC State. See if they do their job. Franklin gets cut off. He cuts off the other linebacker, and Levette makes big yardage. Middle guard also a key against Davis. Does a pretty good job against Davis, but gets turned. And see, as he goes down, here comes Levette. If he gets off that block and into the hole, he might have a chance to stop it.
1st and 10. Pearson is the wingback. Now he goes in motion. And they'll go to Easley up the middle. Easley fumbled the football. It's still loose, and North Carolina State has it at their own 39. Easley hit after a gain of about a yard and coughed it up. Sandy Key, it looked like the man who caused the fumble may have been the guy who got it.
Somebody closed here on the left side of your screen. Here comes Easley. Linebacker helmet right on the ball. As a linebacker, you try to do that. Boy, if you can get that hat on the ball, that's what'll happen.
And it's Key to make the recovery. Esposito on the delay. And McIntosh, greeted with his first offensive carry of the ballgame, stopped in the backfield. Kevin Henderson came in from a linebacker spot. Boy, these kids are quick.
That's the first time, or one of the first times, that State has tried to run on first down. They've been passing on first down. Defensive line for Georgia Tech, very steady. No outstanding performance, but steady.
Fake to McIntosh, throws sideline, complete to Brown. Brown to about the 49-yard line, very close to the first down. Mark Hogan, one of the strong safeties, up to commit on the tackle. And McIntosh in the ball game, great senior running back who has been troubled by a hamstring pull all year long. Had a chance to be the top rusher ever in North Carolina State history, but barring some miracle games, he's not going to get it now. It's got to be a little frustrating for him, but the place they have talent is in tailback.
Right, the difference between Esposito and Evans. Evans had 200 yards last week, but the difference between McIntosh and Evans. McIntosh generates emotion. He's the guy that's been around for 3 years. He's part of the team, and he's the guy that can get the offense going, get them up emotionally.
Here's the measurement, and it's the first down of the ballgame for North Carolina State with 1:41 left in the quarter. Bill Curry.
He looks so good, doesn't he? The guy just looks good. He's got to be a great coach.
Must be 50 pounds less than when he played in the NFL. He's an excellent center. And has he done a job here at Georgia Tech? He did not rebuild this program. He literally resurrected it. McIntosh hit, slipped off one tackle, got across midfield for the first time into Georgia Tech territory. It was Kevin Henderson in on the tackle.
McIntosh showed a little strength in those legs that time, Mike. What he did, he was hit, but he was able to push forward for a yard or two, and that's something State needs every inch they can get against Tech's defense, and McIntosh can pick them up.
Second down, 6 yards to go. That's what McIntosh has done this year, and it has not been much because he hasn't had a chance to play. Esposito over the middle and complete to Brown, reach almost the 40-yard line. Jeff Brown, the leading pass catcher for this ball club, 4th in the ACC. That's now 16 passes on the year, and Mark Hogan, the reserve strong safety, made the tackle. Bill Curry going with a lot of second-string people in that lineup right now.
That's a terrific pass by Esposito. He was covered, and he hit Brown right in the chest.
We saw Esposito have his worst game of the year earlier in the season, Kevin, when he had a terrible time against Wake Forest. But in the other games, he has played much better than that. Wall is the man in motion. They now have 2 flanker backs to the right side, and McIntosh with a gaping hole to the 20, to the 17-yard line. McIntosh blew through there, then made a great move, and Mike Travis had to make the saving tackle.
This will happen on short yardage. Watch McIntosh on this play. The hole is there. It's a great hole. He just runs through the hole, but look at the cut. He looked like he had a little trouble with that cut. He might have, if his leg wasn't bothering him, he might have made it.
Georgia Tech got caught gambling that time, Kevin. They've seen a lot of people.
Blocking for State, some good blocking. They're just pushing people down. McIntosh up the field.
1st and 10. Quarterback keeper Esposito still on his feet to the 6-yard line. That's a gutsy call. Cleve Pounds made the tackle, and North Carolina State is trying their best to fool the Georgia Tech defense.
Ask Tom Reed about the strength of this team, the offensive line. The strength of the team is the offensive line and the tailbacks, and that's what they're going to use today. They're going to push, push, push against that Tech defense.
That is the end of the first quarter with North Carolina State on the move, trying to tie it up. We'll be back in Grant Field in Atlanta, Georgia, right after this. And we thank you very much for the welcome. It's nice to be here in Atlanta, especially on a day like this. It's absolutely perfect. Georgia Tech leading 7-0 over North Carolina State, but State coming back with a very nice drive. They have reached the Georgia Tech 11-yard line, and they have a 2nd and 1. Georgia Tech 6-yard line, rather. Full house backfield. McIntosh and Evans are in there behind the fullback, and it's McIntosh inside the 5 on the dive, and he has a first down for NC State. Jim Anderson caught him on the way down.
Mike, you need your hamstrings for a play like that. Evidently, McIntosh's hamstring is feeling better. Tom Reed a little bit happy now.
And Georgia Tech has used a timeout. I don't think the defensive captain not happy with maybe the personnel he had on the field, wants to go over to talk to Bill Curry.
Or maybe a little confused on the wishbone. Here they come out with this wishbone 2 plays in a row, and he wants to know what to do against the wishbone. The wishbone is an easy defense to read, easy offense to read, but a difficult offense to stop because they send so many people at the corners and so many people at the point of attack. And the way you defense that is, you just take a run and start, and you smash into the first guy in the hole. You try to pile him up and hope everything piles up behind him. If they get room with the wishbone, if they kick people out and get that lead blocker up, remember you got 2 lead blockers, and that can be difficult. Tom Reed want to go against this powerful defense of Georgia Tech. He's going to try and overpower, we call it guerrilla offense, and you need guerrilla defense to stop it.
Tom Reed throwing some new wrinkles in this ball game, and in this drive they have worked very well. First and goal for North Carolina State. The ball at the Georgia Tech 4-yard line. Esposito calling signals. Once again, they'll run out of that wishbone formation. McIntosh tried to get outside and couldn't do it. And the swarming Georgia Tech defense had him. Ken Parker and Jim Anderson were the men on the tackle. Ruffin came up from the corner.
Watch these guys. All they see, they take a run and start. Everybody comes against the wishbone, and they pile everything up. Look at the black shirts, just meeting blocks all the way along the line, and then they flow to the outside and get McIntosh before he can get outside and get a touchdown. That's the way you defense that wishbone. Force them out of it.
They lost a yard. And that's what Tech is looking at, and we've got another timeout as Esposito doesn't like what he sees. Oh, this is chess.
Well, they went out of that wishbone offense. They went to an eye then, see, because they didn't have success there, and they had a wide side of the field. Maybe they wanted to come wide with the offense.
We'll be back with more with Georgia Tech leading North Carolina State 7-0. We're early in the second quarter at Grant Field in Atlanta with Georgia Tech leading at 7-0. NC State on the move, 2nd and goal, 5-yard line, back out of the I formation. Send Worthington in motion. Esposito, plenty of time on the roll. Guns it, knockdown. Oh, what defense. Anthony Harrison back there on coverage along with Jim Anderson, and they were right on top of the receiver.
I talked to you about the wide side. They rolled to the wide side, but see, Tech knew they were going to roll, and the defense rolls with you. Black shirts, 2 of them on the receiver. No chance there. Esposito maybe should have eaten that one.
Esposito tried to get it to Worthington. Boy, you have to be impressed by the Tech defense. They are very, very quick. 3rd and goal from the 5. Big play here for both teams. Esposito straight back. The blitz is on. And they got it. Swilling and Root. And those guys aren't good players or anything. Big, big play as they came on the blitz, and it got there.
2 linebackers getting there. Tech coming with everybody. Esposito does a good job. He tries to roll away for pressure, but the people are covered, and the blitz gets to him.
This means Kofer will have to come on to try the field goal. From 1st and goal at the 4, we have gone to a 35-yard field goal attempt. Kofer, 9 out of 11 with plenty of range. And that one has it. Mike Kofer, the junior place kicker out of Charlotte, has North Carolina State on the board, but it was a moral victory for Georgia Tech. Right now, we'll pause for a word from your local station. The announcers Sponsors for this game are approved and selected by Jefferson Pilot Teleproductions. Any rebroadcast, retransmission, duplication, or reception of the telecast without the express written permission of Jefferson Pilot Teleproductions is prohibited. Took them 1:35, and it ended with a 35-yard field goal from Cofer. They got down to the 4-yard line, first and goal from the 4, and had to settle for a 35-yard field goal.
But, Mike, State believes in their offense, and there's proof that they can score against that team. Makes a big difference in this game.
Cofer kicking off, Sammy Lilly waiting at the goal line. Lilly at the 4. He got to the 19-yard line. Good kick coverage by North Carolina State. They got down there in a hurry, and it was Mac Jones, reserve flanker back, and Taylor Derrick. Make it Derrick Taylor. Sorry about that, Derrick.
Sorry, Mrs. Derrick.
Right now, let's pause 5 seconds for station identification.
WSB-TV, Channel 2, Atlanta.
Dewberry on 1st and 10, just outside his own 19-yard line. Georgia Tech leading at 7-3. Levette on the clock, tripped up, and that's a great defensive play by John McCrory, the strong safety, who came in a hurry.
One of the most difficult things to do at a strong safety position is read that run and come up. Look at McCrory, number 20, on the left side, and the big pile. That's what a safety does. He makes a pile, and if he gets to the running back, so much the better. John McCrory, great job.
It's a loss of 3, so Levette has carried 11 times, a net 38 yards. Here's a little tricky play. Levette ends up with a football, and he'll lose yardage again. And North Carolina State showing you some defense. Mark Franklin stayed at home and made the stop.
Mark Franklin says if you're going to be little, you better be smart, and he was on this play. This is a good fake by Dewberry. Levette on the reverse. This play should have worked. If I was on the defense, I'd have been fooled by this play. But Franklin, a little smarter than I am, comes up and makes the play on Levette. Not a strong back. See how he couldn't pull away from Franklin?
Georgia Tech has lost 6 yards in 2 carries, and it's 3rd and 16, and in dangerous territory. Let's see what Dewberry decides to do. He'll send Levette in motion, and he wants to throw over the middle and through the hands of Wilkins. It looked like he could have caught it, and Dwayne Green was there on the coverage, but Wilkins was open. He might not have seen the football.
Wilkins, leading receiver, 7 catches. The blocking on this play was excellent. Dewberry has the time, and he gets it to Wilkins. And you're right, Wilkins is one of those blackouts.
Now, he was looking back into the sun, almost in a direct line to the sun. He just might have missed it altogether because he is the leading receiver on this ball club with 7 catches. Snow will punt on 4th and 16. Bird standing in his own 45-yard line. Snow is a good kicker. Floats this one up, and Bird signals for the fair catch and takes it at the 48. And North Carolina State will have real good field position and start from there. Kevin, the last possession that NC State had, I think, very, very good for them, as you said. It made them believe in their offense.
McIntosh was in the game on that possession. Pumps them up emotionally. Evans is a good back, but McIntosh has been with him longer, and I think when that offensive line knows he's back there, they may block just a little harder.
1st and 10, North Carolina State. McIntosh is in there right now behind Isom, and he has the football. McIntosh slashing up the middle, inside Tech territory to the 39-yard line, and it was Ricardo Ingram, the free safety, who came up and made the tackle.
Blocking at the point of attack, Kozar and Burnett and Johnny Smith, and then McIntosh. Watch McIntosh run through tackles here. People get their hands on him right there, but he doesn't slow down a bit, picks up big yardage. 1st down State.
McIntosh, 6 carries, 41 yards. And North Carolina State showing very well in the running game here early. Esposito, again, that strange-looking fake throw sideline. Phil Brothers, his flanker, back near the 20-yard line. Mark Hogan ran him out of bounds, but a good pass that time by Esposito.
There's no substitute for the running game gaining yardage. When the running game gains yardage, you can run those fakes. The defense has to respect them, and receivers will get open downfield. That's what State's doing now.
And this is against the #1 defense in the Atlantic Coast Conference. Anderson on the tackle of McIntosh. Joe was the top returning NCAA rusher this year, but injured a hamstring against Furman and only has 171 yards on the ground coming into this ballgame because of his limited playing time.
He was out last week, 1 carry the week before that against Wake Forest, so he's had a rest.
Second down, 4 yards to go. Out of the eye. Wall is the flanker, back number 2. Came in motion and then set McIntosh again. Another big hole. Look out! McIntosh inside the 1-yard line. Travis with a saving tackle, but they are opening it up in the middle of that Georgia Tech defense. Kevin, we mentioned at the start that it is not a big, powerful Georgia Tech defensive line.
No, but it's a big, powerful offensive line for State. Middle guard takes himself out of it. Good block there by Kozer, the center. Center's always the key. That's why he's in the center. He's a good lineman.
First and goal from the 1. McIntosh, no chance. Not that time. They just stacked him up in the middle. Nowhere to run.
Many times we've talked about how the defensive philosophy changes inside the 10 and the 5-yard line. The only thing the defensive line wants to do is hold their ground, let the linebackers jump over the top, and try to catch the back if he jumps over the pile in the other direction.
Georgia Tech on the last possession made a goal line stand from the 4 and forced a field goal, and Esposito will not get in this time either. And it will bring up 3rd and goal. This can get very frustrating.
They run a wishbone, and then they try to jump the quarterback over the top. I don't understand that. Why the wishbone alignment? Because what that does, it brings the defense in very tight because your offense is tight. Tom Reed may have to spread that offense out a little bit, make Tech open up if they want to hold. That State's offensive line averages 271 pounds. Tech, on the average, 256 pounds. So it's a 15-pound difference on the average along that line.
McIntosh has come out. They put Evans in. And Evans will have the football. He dives, and he got it. Vince Evans powered off his right side. And North Carolina State sent everybody in front of him.
Evans and McIntosh are the same height, Mike, but Evans weighs 11 pounds more than McIntosh. Tom Reed maybe felt a little weight here. Put a little weight behind this guy and see if we can get him in. And that's all it is. Evans takes the ball. When he gets back on the ground, it's his weight and his strength that carries him into the end zone. Not bad defense, but hey, they only had a yard to go.
North Carolina State has taken a 9-7 lead. Kofer will try to make it 10, and does. And 2-touchdown underdog North Carolina State has gone in front of highly ranked and undefeated Georgia Tech.
Offensive line wants to get underneath the defensive line and lift them up. Let's see if they can do it. The white shirts, they get underneath the 84 Brown. He gets up underneath the defense. Good defense, but great second effort by Evans. And NC State's got the lead this game.
There is Evans, the senior out of Fayetteville, North Carolina, who gets the touchdown. It's North Carolina State 10, Georgia Tech 7. There's the story. 9.5 minutes to go. First half of play, and North Carolina State has taken a 10-7 lead. That drive, again, very impressive. 2 minutes and 27 seconds, 52 yards long. This time they got the touchdown after having to settle for the field goal on the possession before. And Kofer, who has scored 4 of the 10 points, will kick it away. Sammy Lilly, again, waiting deep. His 3rd crack at a kickoff return in this ballgame. Lilly, 3 yards deep in the end zone, and Lee says, let's keep it there. And Lilly will down in the end zone. Georgia Tech will start from the 20. Kevin, momentum has changed. It's obviously on the side of North Carolina State right now. What do you do to get it back?
Momentum is emotion. State has a couple of things going for him. We talked in the open about being the hunter and the hunted. Georgia Tech is the hunted. A lot of times you run scared when you're the hunted, and when you're the hunter, you're just looking to get something. That's what State's doing now. Emotion very, very high on the State team.
Let's see what Dewberry can do. He'll send Wisenhunt back into the right side. Got Easley and Dewberry behind him and wants to throw. Guns it sideline, complete to Norton. Norton drilled out of bounds at about the 33-yard line. John McCrory, the safety over there, pounded him out of bounds, but it will be a first down for Georgia Tech.
That pass says a lot about what Bill Curry is thinking. They like to run the ball on first down, but here they've had trouble running, so they go to the pass. Norton's only caught 4 passes this year for 59 yards. They don't throw to the wideouts. They did here. They're changing their offensive philosophy just a little bit.
Dewberry has hit 3 of 5 for 41 yards on the afternoon. This time they'll run out of the eye. Look, that's the deep man. A legitimate Heisman Trophy candidate. This time he gets about a legitimate 3 yards.
The first rule of offense, Mike, is to establish something. The run, the pass, the wide pass, the sprint, anything. Get a play that gains yardage. The first rule of defense is to take something away from the offense. State now is taking that run on first down away from Tech. Tech trying to establish something.
Second down, 7 yards to go. Newberry to throw. Has Levette in the flat, and they were waiting on it, and they got him with a blitz. North Carolina State saw that play coming, had somebody right in front of Levette, and sent everybody else after Newberry.
That somebody was Frank Bush, and State has taken away the running play, so they know or they think they're going to pass. Take a look at the inside linebackers here. They drop back, they take away the pass, and on the outside, at the top of your screen, Frank Bush has Levette covered, and just great defense by State.
Now third down and 17. Newberry straight back. Four-man rush. His arm is hit just as he threw, and it's picked off by Pegram. Benny Pegram inside the Georgia Tech 40-yard line, and Raymond Phillips was the man who got to quarterback John Newberry and hit his arm on the throw. Pegram, that is 2 interceptions on the season.
Pressure made the difference. The interception was an easy interception. Phillips in Newberry's face just ran over the blocker. That was easily, just ran over him, and of course that's what made the interception possible.
Esposito throws in the flat, complete to Isom. Making Mike Miller, the reserve fullback who's into the ball game. He's cut down after a short game. And North Carolina State once again with a great opportunity. They're right now at the Georgia Tech 34, 2nd and 5. Miller the fullback, Green is the tailback, 25. Green with a football. This kid can run. Rutland comes up to hit him, but they don't stack him up until he reaches the Georgia Tech 26-yard line. Clare also in on the tackle, number 96. North Carolina State has been very impressive in the early going.
Green there, number 25, has the 3 longest runs from scrimmage since Tom Reed has been the coach, and he's the 3rd string back. He draws a lot of attention there, 7 black shirts.
200-pound junior. This time he'll try it up the middle, and he's stacked up by Ted Roof, the inside linebacker.
The reason that Green doesn't play is because Tom Reed says that he doesn't have the stamina to go a whole game. He can't take the pounding. He hasn't toughened up enough, and that doesn't mean he's not a tough kid. It means that he hasn't toughened up to maintain his pace the entire game. He can't keep that edge.
Second down, 10 yards to go. Probably a passing down for Esposito, and he's on the roll. Looking for Worthen, but he can't find it. Now he can't find anybody. And the sack goes to John Clare, number 96. 226-pound junior just kept coming and kept coming.
Terrific blocking at the corner by State. State's offensive line did a great job on that play. Esposito had time, but the coverage was there. He maybe should have thrown that ball out of bounds. There comes a point when the quarterback can't complete the pass. He's got to get rid of it before he takes that sack.
Third down, now 20 yards to go for NC State. Georgia Tech comes with a 4-man rush. Esposito, short pass, sideline, complete to Jeffries, but Jeffries will only get to the 30, maybe the 29-yard line. Dante Jones and Ted Roof on the tackle, and this will probably bring on Cofer for the long field goal attempt. The young man's got the leg to do it. He has a long field goal this year of 52. 5 others for more than 40 yards. Cofer this time, with the ball spotted at the 36, will try a 46-yard field goal.
5 for 6 from this distance this year.
Good place kicker. Several good kickers in the league this year. Got the distance, but it's wide. Cofer had the leg, but not the accuracy, and North Carolina State will come away with this one without any points. 5:13 to go first half. The score remains North Carolina State 10 and Georgia Tech 7. Coming up at halftime, I think a piece you'll really like called Romancing the Stone, about the Stone down at Clemson. Don't want to give it away too much. One for the books. Another one you'll enjoy. And all the scores and highlights with Chris Placken, so stay with us. Boy, this has been a good ball game so far. Georgia Tech with the football at their own 30-yard line. Down 10-7. And Dewberry maybe tripped by one of the guards. He was trying to pull, got his feet tangled up with somebody, and went right down.
Middle guard lined up off sides on that play. The middle guard was so far over the ball that he crammed the center, Davis, back into Dewberry. He was literally, his face was over the ball, and I can't believe the official missed that.
4:50 to go.
But Dewberry, see Davis's leg in the left foot. He tripped Dewberry. He was crammed right back into Dewberry.
2nd and 13, and all at once, the North Carolina State defense has really been able to shut down this Georgia Tech offense, and they continue to do it. Phillips and Singletary were in on the tackle, and the ball carrier was Dave Passanella, who is a 235-pound ball carrier. Kay, was so close to the ball on that play. I think he was offsides on that play, too. He's not giving Davis any room to work, and that's the way. See, the center has to hike the ball. Look how close, look his face, how close he is to the ball. Pearson in motion, Dewberry to throw. Can't find anyone who wants to run it. Nice move by Dewberry, gets outside the 30 to about the 31-yard line. Franklin ran him out of bounds.
One of the big improvements in Dewberry this year, Bill Curry says, quickness. He reacts very quickly. He knows what he sees. He doesn't see anything, so he pulls it down and he runs with the ball. And the kid can run. He's got about 57 yards or so on the year.
Bird is back to receive the punt of Mike Snow. And Georgia Tech will have to give it away again. Rifles this one, driving Bird back to the 22-yard line. And Bird, with an 8-yard return, gets the ball out to the North Carolina State 30-yard line. North Carolina State, Kevin, has really surprised me here in the first quarter. They have been able to do some things that I really didn't think they would be able to do against Georgia Tech, both on offense and defense.
Tom Reed said yesterday when I spoke to him, he thought he could win this game. He came in here with a 2-2 record thinking he could beat Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech, 11th in USA Today, 12th by the Associated Press and UPI. And that is the highest ranking they have had since the days of Bobby Dodd. They were ranked a little bit higher than that in 1965.
Those were glory days, but one has to believe that the glory days are returning. Homer Rice, what a job he's done, and Bill Curry is putting together quite a program.
The entire athletic program has been upgraded here at Georgia Tech. Tyson the fullback, Evans the tailback. Esposito wants to go long. Deep over the middle, and he was throwing, and a flag is down. This may be offensive interference as Brothers tried to come back and get the football. Let's check it for you. That's Phil Brothers right there. He had a step on his man, but the pass was underthrown, and he came back to try to get it. And it is against North Carolina State. Sammy Lilly was the defensive back who was trying to make the interception. You think Tom Reed is happy about that call? Oh.
Emotion, I told you, it's the key to football.
So blood pressure.
Is that a red shirt or is that his chest? The blood pressure.
Could light a match off his forehead right now. Tom Reed really upset, and this play really cost his ball club.
Offensive pass interference, loss of down, 3rd down.
Brothers and Lilly were running stride for stride. The pass was underthrown, and Brothers comes back.
The rule is when the offensive man looks, the defensive man looks. You can flip a coin on that one, folks.
Might have been one of those good no calls. 3rd down, 20 yards to go for North Carolina State. Esposito in a hole now back at his own 20, and they'll run the delay to Evans, and you can forget it because Swilling was right there. You don't think Swilling was waiting for that?
What is the rule here? You wait on the defensive line until the quarterback passes the last man in the backfield. When he passes him and he has the ball, you know it's going to be a pass play. Defensive line of Tech They're looking for draw and screen. Lee gets in on the tackle.
They'll have to punt it away again. Norton disdains the fair catch, and North Carolina State is going to face another penalty here because there is a neutral zone around that receiver, and you have to give him room to catch the football. And Brian Bullock was right in his face.
Another judgment call.
Now the officials are going to talk it over. There is a radius around that receiver that a defensive player cannot enter.
I always thought that if he catches it, he could have caught it.
And there is the interference call.
Seems to me if the guy catches the ball, then he had enough room to catch it. I mean, that's logical.
5-yard interference, foul late in the zone.
The guy's crazy enough to return kicks. He shouldn't get any protection.
And Tom Reed, well, you wouldn't want to be around Tom Reed right now. He is really pumped up, and we may have another penalty on top of it. Here it is.
Unsportsmanlike, first down.
And I think that is the result of the protest, the heated protest from the sideline, and all at once, Georgia Tech has moved down to the North Carolina State 36-yard line without benefit of snapping the football.
Referee has to use some restraint on that. Reed, of course, his job is to win football games. You don't want to move a team down the field just because the coach is yelling.
Easley is the fullback. Levette behind him. The fake to Levette. And the pass to the 26-yard line. And Dewberry really took a shot and was a little slow at getting up. That fake was a little slow.
Exactly right, Mike. Took a long time for the fake, and he gets the ball off nicely. Wisenhunt, a great story. The receiver there, his 5th year of college football, he could get 5 letters. The first player in modern history to get 5 letters in college football. We'll talk about that a little more later.
The 1st and 10, Georgia Tech. They're down 10-7 to a fired-up North Carolina State football team. Easley, who had success early, this time will get about 4. Singletary was in on the tackle. Easley now 5 carries, 42 yards on the afternoon. Coming into the game, he'd only carried 15 times all season for 79 yards. He's starting in place of Keith Blanton. 2nd and 6, Georgia Tech. They're split the backs this time with Dewberry to throw. Interception. North Carolina State's Nelson Jones pulls off the big play, steps in front of the receiver, and for Dewberry, only his 2nd interception in 1984.
I want you to watch Dewberry's head on this play. If I'm Nelson Jones and I'm watching look at Dewberry. Look where he's looking. The whole time, Nelson Jones was watching his eyes. Folks, this thing was so intercepted, you don't even see an offensive receiver there. Nelson Jones is coming all the way. It's a good pass. It's hard, but Nelson Jones read it all the way, came from that corner position, was playing zone, stepped in front of the receiver, and off to the races. And this makes Tom Reed's emotion look a little bit better.
And John Davis has been helped off the sideline for Georgia Tech, the massive sophomore center. There's a look at him. He was holding his right arm as if he was in terrible pain, his right arm or his right wrist. We'll see if we can get a report on Davis for you. They're attending to him down on the sideline. North Carolina State now has taken over Sports Illustrated Offensive Player of the Week last week as he went up against the refrigerator at Clemson. And they gave him a new nickname this week. They called him the Refrigerator Mover.
From LJ, Georgia.
Flags are down as Evans bores right up the middle. Cleve Pounds came up from the safety spot to make the tackle. We'll check the penalty for him. Thrown right at the line of scrimmage. The preliminary signal, procedure against State. And penalties in the last 2 or 3 minutes have really hurt this ball club. Speaking of time, there's a minute 16 to go in the half. Here's the call.
Illegal procedure on the offensive team. Only 6 men on the line of scrimmage. First down.
That's not nearly as bad as it sounds. Somebody lines up 1 yard back and you get the penalty. It is 1st and 15. Let's see if State will keep the ball on the ground and try to run out the clock, or if they'll go for it. And they'll give it to Evans. And Evans really crunched as he got there. Ralph Malone was the first man that had him number 95 around the ankles and held him until help got there. And help got there.
Help always does with this defense. Malone's from Madison, Alabama. He's been injured. He was injured lifting weights. That will happen to a linebacker. You have to lift a lot of weights to be a linebacker. But he's got good speed. In fact, he's the quickest of linebackers. He's the backup to Anderson.
Heaven knows it hurts me. Clock running down with 31 seconds left to go on 2nd and 13. Here is Evans again over the 40 to about the 44-yard line. That'll stop the clock on a 1st down with 26 seconds left. Rutland 16 and Harrison 31 up from the secondary to make the stop.
Left side of the offensive line, A.B. Richards to tackle over there. Good blocking at the point of attack. You see the double team. All Vince Evans has to do is pick his spots. And a little bit of poor tackling by Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech has had lapses now. They had a lapse against Alabama. They won the game, but they did have a defensive lapse in that game. Against Clemson last week, Bill Curry said they played the finest half of football they have ever played, or at least in the last 20 years at Georgia Tech. They led that game 21-0, but Clemson, remember, tied that football game before Tech won it. So this defense is apt not to be consistent. They do have lapses. That's what's happening here against State. They're being run against.
There's Vince Evans, and as the 3rd individual to have better than 200 yards a game, his performance last week at 201 was the 5th best all time in NC State history. Kevin, you hear people talking all the time about student athletes, but down here at Georgia Tech, when they say it, they mean it more than anybody else maybe in the country, as far as a school with athletic tradition and with that academic balance.
They don't want pro football players. They want complete people to come out of Georgia Tech. That's what they're getting.
And if they happen to be pro football players on top of it, that's fine. Esposito on 3rd down will throw sideline to Brown. Brown got out of bounds, driven out at the 48-yard line with 21 seconds left. Dante Jones knocked him out.
State has a decision to make here. They do have good field position. It's 2nd down. The question is, will they try to get in? Of course, with Hofer, guy can kick from 50, 52 yards. You know that Tom Reed is going to try to get another 3 points on the board.
All they need is another 15 yards, and they would give Hofer a chance at it. 21 seconds left. 2nd and 5. NC State. They are leading 10-7. Esposito. Whoa. Almost had it picked off. He threw it right into the hands of Glenn Spencer, the defensive end, who's reached up and slapped it down, and you see 15 seconds left.
I love black shirts because they're easy to see. These guys, the Georgia Tech defense is going crazy. Good block there as he pushes Swilling out of the way. Esposito's feet are starting to move. I told you about quarterbacks. When those feet start going up and down before they throw it, means they're nervous.
Your feet move at the same rate as your heart does.
Yeah, that's right.
They'll give it up the middle and only reach the 50-yard line. And North Carolina State decided they were not going to gamble on this. 6 seconds, and the clock is turning. And that is going to be the last play of the 1st half. And North Carolina State, as Tom Reed leaves the field, and you can bet Tom Reed may have a word with somebody, and does, because he was hit, or somebody along the sidelines on his ball club was hit with a 15-yard penalty that could have had a big impact on this game.
We're guessing, but Mike, I think it's a good guess that it was Tom Reed. Emotion like that on the sideline, if you don't care, if you don't show emotion, your team may go flat. They may not show emotion, but there's a limit to everything. If it goes on for a quarter, you lose the impact. And Tom Reed's still yelling, screaming at the official. That's in the past. He still has the lead. Let it go, and let's get to the rest of the game.
Of course, he's going to be fired up when they go in the dressing room at halftime. He has his ball club 2-2, 0-1 in the ACC, and we said it was a big game for them. If they go 0-2 in the Atlantic Coast Conference, very difficult for them to have any hopes of doing anything at all this year.
Atlantic Coast Conference is the key word here. We've got just about every team. Duke's had enormous injuries, and they may be in big trouble. Every one of these teams in the conference could win the championship.
Right.
This is a pretty good football conference. If you look at who the Atlantic Coast Conference has been beating the last couple of weeks, you'll see some pretty good teams. So State, Tech, Maryland, all these teams are going to be in there for the conference title race, maybe down to the last 3 games of the year, and we've got some pretty good ones coming up.
Georgia Tech jumped on top. They took the opening kickoff, drove 77 yards, as I recalled, and scored. Looked like it could have been a blowout. All at once, NC State says, all right, we'll start playing with you.
Success breeds complacency. Maybe a little bit of a problem for Georgia Tech. Knowing Bill Curry, I think he'll take care of the complacency at halftime.
All right, right now let's check in with Chris Clackham and see what he has for us here at halftime.
Well, what we got coming up for you at halftime, where our score is Georgia Tech behind North Carolina State 10-7. We have got a story on a love affair with a rock at Clemson. And a comeback, an ACC comeback by this North Carolina State Wolfpack. That's good enough for our weekly feature, one for the books. So stay with us. We got a lot more. We'll be back with ACC 84 right after this.
Chris Clackham, thank you very much. An excellent job as always, and a nice interview with Mr. McKay, and he will be a fine addition to this Georgia Tech football team. Kevin, it's an even-Steven story on the statistics.
That's the story. It's even. These guys are playing them dead even. Turnovers for Georgia Tech. 3 turnovers. A little bit of a surprise, I think. Tech, not so much that Tech is flat. They're playing a good game. NC State's sky high. If they can maintain that pace in the second half, we're in for a barn burner.
North Carolina State will have the football as we start the second half. David Bell will kick off. NC State with the 2 deep with Chris Cook, number 6, and number 17 Nasrallah Worthen. Worthen is the burner. A lot of speed, averaging 25.5 yards a kickoff return, but this one drives him out of the back of the end zone, and NC State will have to start from the 20, and Bell really got all of that one on the kickoff.
I said in the first half, the defense has to take something away, and the offense has to establish something. In the first half, NC State's offense established the ground game. You can bet Bill Curry and the defensive people for Georgia Tech are going to try and take that ground game away from State here in the second half.
The tailback is Evans. McIntosh was the leading ground gainer in the first half, and Evans stacked up. And just as they did on the first series, the Georgia Tech Yellow Jacket defense swarming to the football. Jim Anderson, the first man there, but boy, they get there in a hurry.
Pat Swilling turns it in on the corner, and Anderson, number 91, watch him come right in the middle of your screen, head to head. That's what linebackers do best. Turns Evans around and sends him going back in the other direction.
Loss of 2, 2nd and 12. Been a tough day for Evans so far. This is Esposito. Time to throw, dumps it over the middle, and underthrows his flanker, Ricky Wall. Had Wall open on the little slant over the middle, but he didn't get it to him.
Had the blocking. Esposito short-armed that ball. Tech, again, this is kind of a microcosm. It's a simple type of thing. You take away the run, and you play pass. Esposito had a good first half. He's 9 for 12 now, but he was 9 for 11 for 60 yards in that first half. Controlled passing. He did a good job.
Microcosm, is that a word you use whenever we are at Georgia Tech?
Yeah, that's something that's on your toothbrush after you finish brushing your teeth.
3rd down, 12 yards to go, and a flag goes down as Spencer poured through there.
Malinicek jumped on the right side for State, number 71, 6'5", 295. It's kind of hard to miss Malinicek. They can't even get. It's a good thing he's so big, get his name on his back there.
Cost him 5. Here's the call.
Dead ball, illegal procedure, the offensive team, 3rd down.
And it's 3rd and 17, and North Carolina State going the wrong way. And there's Malinicek.
Whoops. Feeling even bigger when he does that.
Brown goes to the top of your screen. It's 3rd and 17. Esposito may have been changing the play and gives on the draw to Evans. Evans breaks the tackle. A flag is down, and so is Evans as he reached the 18-yard line. Cleve Pounds up from a safety spot to make the tackle. We'll check the flag. Could have been a hold where the flag was thrown. And it is. Preliminary signal. This may be declined by Georgia Tech because it'll bring up a 4th down.
One of the knocks on the State offense has been that it's too predictable.
Holding on the offense, decline, 4th down.
3rd and long. The last thing that you say when you leave the defensive huddle is watch out for screen and draw. Everybody knows it's going to be screen or draw, so what does he have to do? He has to hold them, and there you see it.
And Marty Martinezson will come in to punt. The first punt he has had this year. He was the kicker for 2 straight seasons. Martinezson gets off the kick. Norton with the catch, went down to one knee, and was then planted at the 48-yard line, hit by Brian Bullock, a big defensive tackle down on special teams. And Georgia Tech, as they have had so often throughout the day, with tremendous field position, and listen to the crowd trying to fire up their ball club.
And giving that defensive unit a little bit of an ovation. Tech, conversely, has to reestablish Levette in the second half. This is the rest of our lineup for October. Some great matchups right there on the screen.
1st and 10, Georgia Tech. Dewberry, who had a rough first half, calling signal, sends Lee in motion and gives to Levette. Levette stacked up as he went off the left side. Raymond Phillips on the tackle, the big left tackle, the junior, 6'4", 245, had him around the ankles. And Kevin Levette has had very little success in this ballgame. 14 carries, 39 yards in the first half. He got 2 on that one.
State took him out of the game. They took him out of the game, stopped the running attack, made Tech go to the passing game.
2nd and 8, and Dewberry to throw. Complete to Norton. Norton to the 30-yard line. 1st down, Georgia Tech. Jeff Geathers on the tackle.
Norton is the only wide receiver that has multiple catches the entire year. He's the guy that they should be guarding against, and yet they give him all this room. Look at the space Norton has. Number 1, good pursuit, but they get the 1st down. Guard that guy. Go tight on him.
There's a good look at the senior. Only 152 pounds. Very consistent receiver with good hands. He's made some tough catches. Wilkins, number 80, is in the tight end. He's to the right side of the screen, and they'll go out of the eye. And they'll go absolutely nowhere. Again, Phillips, the first man on the charge, and John McCrory, the strong side safety, up there in a hurry.
Davis injured in the first half. The center is back in the game. The story of this game is the NC State defensive line. They're handling the offensive line of Georgia Tech, a very fine offensive line. We've hit on it. Not only is Davis an excellent offensive lineman, but Thomas and Capano and Blazing, Ivermeyer, all these guys can block.
2nd down, 11 yards to go, and Levette has had all sorts of problems. He's one of the leading ground gainers in the country. They fake it to him this time, and it's picked off again. Another interception for North Carolina State. Nelson Jones picks off another pass. That is 3 on the day for North Carolina State, and the 2nd for Nelson Jones.
Tom Reed likes the defense that pressures the offense, that comes when you pressure the quarterback, you play the receivers tight, and this is the type of thing that happens. Dewberry throws the ball, but Nelson Jones is tight on Wisenhut, and he's right there. If he could have kept his balance, he's down the sideline for a touchdown.
And that was a great play by the defensive back. Timeout. It's still State 10, Tech 7. North Carolina State with the lead and the football at their own 31-yard line. Tom Reed in his 2nd season with a 5-10 record. This could be the biggest win of his career if his club can pull off the upset. That was a little dump-off pass to the fullback, Isom, and he was wrapped up by Cleve Pounds, number 32.
Cleve Pounds, a great story. Cleve Pounds was a backup tailback last season, they moved him to safety for Georgia Tech. He's a starting safety, one of the leading tacklers. He's got an interception. He's playing just great football.
McIntosh is now the tailback behind Isom. They fake it to McIntosh, and Esposito with time and a completion over the middle. Jeffries with the football into Georgia Tech territory at the 41-yard line. Haywood Jeffries, a 200-pound sophomore.
Can't say enough about the offensive line of State. Look at the protection for Esposito, and look at the hole in the middle of this zone as Jeffries is out for a Sunday stroll, ball right on the mark. Now, that play has been open a few times, and Esposito has missed it. That time he didn't miss it.
Anthony Harrison, the free safety, way off of him that time, and it's a 1st down for State. McIntosh off the right side. He's got 5 and more. Had to be stopped by Mike Travis, the left corner, who came up. In North Carolina State, their offensive line doing the job. Remember, Georgia Tech is not a big defensive unit.
No, but this State team is a lot different from the team we saw a couple of weeks ago. Look at how physical they are, and look at the hole. And everything they do is working.
Back to live action, and they get near the 30 with McIntosh again on the carry. Very close to the 1st down, and may have it.
have to go back to McIntosh. He's really a key for this team. Since the first quarter when he came in, they just seem to have gone to a different level. They've raised themselves up. They have confidence in him. They know if they make the blocks, McIntosh will find the hole. And it's a different team with him in there. It's our first chance to see him with McIntosh.
And it's no rap on Vince Evans, who was a quality running back. But as you say, you played with a guy for so long. He's been your leader for so long. And when he comes in, you really get pumped up. And there is the first down.
It takes time to establish rapport over the years. He eats rest with these guys. He eats with them. Evans hasn't been around, hasn't been a key member of the team for that long. So McIntosh definitely making an impact both emotionally and physically on the field today.
As this score is flashed around the country, it's going to surprise a lot of people. 2 tight ends in the ball game right now. If they give it to McIntosh over the right side, room to run, got maybe 5 before he's forced out of bounds. Rutland was over there, so was Cleve Pounds.
Right side of that line, Burnett, Milinacek on the right side. They come down. They take care of Lee. You can see that. Now they go to the corner. People leading from the other side, pushing the black shirts off the line of scrimmage. And you don't need to see the ball carrier to know that there's plenty of space there. And when you see a lot of green on the screen, that means they're doing their job.
North Carolina State doing something else very important right now. They're keeping their defense, the weakest unit they have, off the field. McIntosh again, not this time. Got just a couple. Ted Roof and Anderson had him around the ankles.
Pat Swilling, number 99 for Georgia Tech, is their pressure guy. He's the guy that they like to rush the passer and play the run. He's a defensive end linebacker in the up position. Takes the lead block from Isom. Turns it in. Does a pretty good job, but maybe could have stuffed that block a little better.
3rd and 2. Again, 2 tight ends. Wortham, the burner, is on the outside of the flanker. And they'll give it to McIntosh. First down and more. Inside the 10-yard line before Cleve Pounds knocked him out of bounds, and there is a flag down at the spot of the tackle. NC State really showing us something this afternoon. And the preliminary call, a personal foul against Georgia Tech, that will move it inside the 5.
NC State just taking it to the Tech defense now. It's not like this hasn't happened before. They're 3-0, but Clemson handled them a little bit, and they've had some problems defensively. State seems to have found the formula.
Ball marked at the 4, and here's the call on the penalty.
Dead ball foul, personal foul, defense, first down.
Jeff Brown, 45, and Ralph Britt, 84, are the tight ends. The lone wide receiver is Ricky Wall, and McIntosh has now reached 95 yards on the day. Has a chance to add to that total here. McIntosh near the goal line, got inside the 1. Spencer and Rutland on the stop, but McIntosh, behind excellent offensive blocking up front, gets to the 1.
Difficult to imagine how much Joe McIntosh does mean to this team.
Right.
It is literally a different team out here. We saw them 2 weeks ago. They were flat. It was a close game, 24-15 to Wake Forest. They didn't seem to play the way they're playing today, certainly.
Now has 98 yards on 15 carries and will be stopped short this time. Nice job by Mark Hogan, who came around the wall of blockers and hit McIntosh before he had a chance to take off.
I love the goal line defense. It's so simple. And you just, all you do is run in the direction of the ball carrier. Take a look. Just stuff them. And that's what the black shirts did. They stuffed them.
3rd down and goal from the 1-yard line. Remember, State has had problems in this area. And look at the mix-up on Georgia Tech. Having a problem sending players where they ought to be. Touchdown. Georgia Tech on that play almost had 3 men out covering the wide receivers, which left 10 against 8.
They did have 2 out there, Mike. They had 2 guys out covering a wide receiver on goal line defense, which obviously is not what you want. You go man. You don't need double coverage, especially when it's on the half-yard line. State's got him on the run.
McIntosh with the touchdown, and Mike Kofer, here's the play.
Very simple. Jump as high as you can. Get the ball over the plane. McIntosh knows what to do.
Once again, Hogan came in from the side, got a hand on him, but couldn't stop him. And Kofer adds the point after. So North Carolina State now has the 17-7 lead over 11th-ranked Georgia Tech.
Let's give the credit to the offensive line. Stack them up, give them room to jump. McIntosh will do the rest. Give him a spot to jump from and get him up over the line. And State leads it. Joe McIntosh. Now, a hamstring for McIntosh, that's a good point, that the hamstring has got to be healed, Mike, in order for him to jump that high. He's obviously pretty healthy today.
Right now, let's pause for a word from your local station. 8:57 to go, third quarter. North Carolina State underdog by 2 touchdowns, leading by 10 points here in the third quarter. And another impressive drive that went 69 yards. McIntosh capped it with a 1-yard dive. Coker added the point at 17-7. And now we will find out about Georgia Tech's offense, whether they can come back or not.
I believe it's the first time they've been behind.
The kickoff to Lilly drives him 8 yards deep in the end zone, and he will stay right there. And Georgia Tech will have to start from the 20. Tech has had 4 turnovers today. Dewberry with 3 interceptions. He only had 1 interception in the first 3 games. Had been completing almost 60% of his passes. And here's what's happened on the turnover.
10 points. It's led to 10 points to field the turnovers, and they lead by 10 points. State has a 10-point lead, so I think that probably tells you what's going on.
And Dewberry is back to throw on first down. Sideline, nice grab by Isom. Bug Isom gave himself the nickname. He could have given himself any nickname he wanted to, and he gave himself Bug. Right now, let's pause 5 seconds for station identification. First down, Georgia Tech, 31-yard line. Levette has been virtually shut down. This is the fullback Easley, and he is stopped in the backfield. Phillips got to him first, along with Mark Franklin.
Went to a split-back formation. This play was very slow in developing. Easton just did not get off the ball quickly enough. And Tech is out of that I formation. Levette is an I back, a great I tailback, and they're getting out of the I formation. Now they're going back into it on this play.
Easley had 41 yards in the first half. He lost 3 on that one, 2nd and 13. Pearson, the flanker, back in motion. And they'll go to the toss with Levette. And Levette nailed as he got near the line of scrimmage. And it was John McCrory, who has had an outstanding game at strong safety. An All-American walk-on from Sports Illustrated.
How do you stop the I formation with the great back? You come after it, get in the backfield. Watch the white shirts appear to the left of your screen. A whole bunch of them. Stack them up. Levette not physical. He's not going to pull out of a lot of tackles, and they take him down again.
Third down, 11 yards to go, and Georgia Tech's offense has had a tough afternoon against the fired-up Wolfpack defense. Dewberry on the run, complete the Bug Isom at the 50-yard line, and that was a tough catch because Nelson Jones really caught him in the small of the back at the same time the ball got there.
Tough catch, tough throw. Dewberry does a great job getting away from pressure. Watch number 11. He pulls up, gets a block, throws the ball, kind of lofts it, and it's an excellent pass as Isom's on the receiving end before he goes out of bounds.
Roosevelt Isom Jr. with a catch. He hated the word junior, so he went to Bug. And here is Levette with a chance to run for the first time in a couple of quarters. And down to the North Carolina State 43 where Mark Franklin got it.
Establish the pass, and the run will reappear. Make them spread out. Think about the corners. Think about the sideline. Isom, 2 nice catches on the sideline, and Levette suddenly is able to run. Levette misses Glant. Glant's a good blocker. He's not been in the game. He's banged up. Easton has replaced him. He's not such a good blocker.
Wilkins, the man moving across the formation. The tight end in for Wisenhunt. They'll run out of the I. Give it to Levette again. Big hole this time, and Levette to the 35 to 34-yard line. Kent Winstead, the nose guard, trailed him from behind and made the tackle.
Excellent block by 79 Peter Blazek on the line, and then he gets a good lead block from Easton and help there. Makes the cut, as the great backs do. And as you see there, Blazek had wiped out some of the pursuit. There was a big hole, and Levette was able to get up in it.
1st and 10, Georgia Tech. The fullback easily really popped as he got to the line of scrimmage. Phillips was the first man to hit him and stood him straight up, and then Pat Teague finished him off for NC State.
There are lots of ways to play defense. Tom Reed's philosophy is, see if I can explain it to you very simply, attack the blocker and get rid of him and pursue the ball. In other words, you beat the block and then find the ball with your eyes and chase the ball. That's it, simply. State's doing a good job of it today.
Lovett up to 96 yards. Make it 56 yards, brother, on 19 carries. That's a lot of work. Trying to go outside, no sir. And once again, it was Raymond Phillips who is doing an outstanding job from that left tackle spot. He's only 245 pounds. He's outweighed every play, but he has been in there all afternoon.
He needed to gain 25 pounds to get up to 245, and this is a good example. Phillips is a good example of a guy who's getting off the block. Levette's very deep in the backfield, and Phillips gets rid of his blocker, chases it down, and makes the tackle. That's great defense by State.
3rd and 9, passing down for Dewberry, splits the backs. 5-man rush, got his man open. Norton very close to the first down at the 24. It will depend on where they mark it, and it looks like they have marked it maybe a foot short of the first down as Nelson Jones made the tackle.
Robert Levette crosses in front to the left there of Norton and clears the space for him. Norton comes underneath and he's wide open. A good throw by Dewberry. Levette has a lot of benefits, you know, not just running the ball. He can draw the defense away from where the ball is going too. He did on that play.
4th and less than 1. 2 tight ends. Tech will not go for the field goal. They want the first down. Send the flanker in motion and give it to Levette. First down and more. As he hits the 21-yard line. Franklin had him around the ankles, but he couldn't save the first down run. 4:23 left, 3rd quarter. Tech trying to gain some ground.
Behind Davis, Thomas, and Ivermeyer. Good blocking by the black shirts. Easily leads it up in there. Number 20 picks up the first down and about 3 more to the 21-yard line.
I think John Davis, the center, is hurting. He came off the field. It looks like he injured his right hand or his right wrist early in the ballgame, and he is not playing all that well right now. Levette gets to about the 16-yard line. Benny Pegram, the outside linebacker, and Mark Franklin, the inside linebacker, in on the tackle.
One of the drawbacks about being a great player like Levette or John Davis is when you get hurt, if you leave the game, the other defense gets in the huddle, and I used to do this, they say, we got him out of there. He had all that publicity, he's a great lineman, we got him out of there, let's play even harder. But Davis has a responsibility to stay in there until he can't walk.
2nd and 5. Still the 2 tight end offense, and out of the eye, Pearson, the man in motion. Easily, big hole this time. Right behind is big center John Davis and the 2 guards, John Thomas and Tony Campano. And they cleared it out, Kevin.
John Davis is the center, takes on the middle guard, gets a little double team, and here comes Easley. Levette has had success. He goes wide. They send Easley up the middle for good yardage, number 44. Not a great blocker, but he's run for some good yardage today.
46 yards on 9 carries. 1st and goal, Georgia Tech at the state 9-yard line. Lee in motion. Easley again. Looked like he had some room, but State closed in a hurry.
When Clemson tied the game last week at 21 after trailing by 21, Tech won the game, and they won the game with a late drive, and they ran the ball all the way down the field. They did not throw. They have the type of offensive line that when they need points, they can suck it up and pound on that defense, and I think that's what they're trying to do today. But remember, Easley is the guy that fumbled early in this game, but he did drop the ball once, and that's got to make Texas a little bit nervous as they get close to the end line.
That's Benny Pegram being helped off the field, the 228-pound senior who has had an interception today. And he was very, very slow getting up. We have 2:50 to go, 3rd quarter. It's NC State on top of undefeated Georgia Tech, 17-7 from Grant Field in Atlanta, along with Kevin Tyler. This is Mike Patrick. Hope you're enjoying the telecast. It's been an excellent ball game so far, full of surprises and great defensive effort by North Carolina State. You got to give them all the credit in the world. 2nd down and goal, 7-yard line. Then Wilkins, the tight end in motion, give it to Levette. Left side, dragged down, and it's Franklin again. Boy, has he had a ball game.
Franklin may be too small to see. He's only about 5'9". These guys may be just running by him, missing him. He's a tiny guy, not tiny in weight. He's about 222. Franklin's 48. Try and pick him up. There he is. He gets depth. He gets into the backfield. Easily missed him, number 44 in black, and Franklin makes the play.
Big play here. 3rd and goal from the 5.
Pick and roll out defensively on this. Pick and roll out.
Newberry sends Wise in motion. Gives it to Levette. Tries to go up the middle. Got to very close to the 2-yard line. And this will bring up an interesting call. Pat Teague was in on the tackle. This will be 4th and goal from the 2. You're down by 10. Do you go for the field goal? 2 yards a long way.
The reason that I was thinking rollout on that is because it gives you, the play doesn't show immediately. A handoff shows immediately, gives the defense a chance to react and stop the play. If you roll out, you have a number of options, and I think that's, well, they're down by 10. They'll probably go for the field goal here.
And they've got David Bell in the ballgame. Bell 7 out of 9 on the year. Got this one up and through. Georgia Tech has pulled within 7 points with 1 minute and 11 seconds to go. 3rd period of play from Atlanta. Our score, NC State 17 and Georgia Tech 10.
Chris Blackham on the sideline at Grant Field with an update from Death Valley. Talk about surprises. North Carolina, the last team to beat Clemson at home, is all tied up with the Tigers 3-3 at halftime.
It's been a tough 3-week stretch for the Tigers, hasn't it?
Yeah, not such a surprise. We saw North Carolina, a tremendous, enormous amount of talent on that team. By the end of this year, you can bet they'll be vying for the title. There's a scoring drive, 16 plays, 78 yards. That is a typical Georgia Tech drive. Problem was they only got 3 points on a 19-yard field goal.
Bell sets up to kick it away from the 40-yard line. David with a 19-yard field goal. There is Cook, and number 17 is Nasrallo Worthen. And Bell has been in the end zone a couple of times to prevent Worthen, who has blazing speed, from getting out there. This time he may be able to return it. Worthen at the goal line. Stopped at the 16-yard line, and Georgia Tech did a nice job getting downfield. Bart Jones, a defensive back, Sammy Lilly, number 37, in on the tackle.
We'll need to watch the Tech defense on this series because the Tech defense has been pushed around today, and now within 1 touchdown, they need a good stand, and they need to stop this offense. Key drive here.
McIntosh is the tailback. Ricky Eisen, the fullback in front of him. McIntosh. Got a few. Dante Jones was in on the tackle, came from the linebacker spot. Donnie Chisholm, the nose guard, was also in there.
Dante
McIntosh
Jones.
now over 100.
Excuse me, Mike. Dante Jones, they call him Sweet D. They say the ladies like Dante, so they call him Sweet D. He's from Valdosta, went to Valdosta High School.
Oh, what a great high school program they have had over the years. McIntosh now 101 yards on the day. Esposito on the roll, throws sideline, complete to Brothers. Brothers, a couple of juke moves and gets out over the 30 to about the 33-yard line. It will be a first down for North Carolina State. And Esposito seems to be much more in control on the passing game this week than when we saw him earlier in the season.
Well, he has a running game, Mike. Anytime you run that play-action fake, as you can see here, he had plenty of time. Anytime you have time, it's just a matter of throwing the ball out. Good job by Brothers here as he picks up a block and gets downfield.
We are told that we may be having some video problems, and everyone else who is doing anything by satellite today may be having video problems, and will for the next 10 or 12 minutes, or could be for the next 10 or 12, because of the placement of the satellites. Something very technical that we don't understand and have no intention of trying to explain to you.
I told him not to send 7 people up in one breath.
That's right. 28 seconds to go, third quarter. State by 7 over Tech. North Carolina State with a 7-point lead and the football. 24 seconds to go, third quarter. State with the ball at its own 32-yard line, first and 10. Fake to McIntosh. Esposito floats it out there and completes it again. Hits Jeffries still on his feet. Jeffries to the 40, to the 38-yard line before he's driven out of bounds. Dante Jones and Anthony Harrison back on the coverage. But Jeffries did a nice job that time, made sure he wrapped up the football and then stayed up.
People probably wonder why the spin move gets you free. As a defensive player, I'll tell you why this works. Jeffries, first of all, is wide open. The spin move, see, if you don't wrap your arms, it reduces the impact.
Back to live action, and it's McIntosh to the Georgia Tech 30-yard line. Lying on top of him, John Clare, number 96. But McIntosh now up to 19 carries and 110 yards. And the third quarter has come to an end here at Grant Field, Georgia Tech, and State with a surprising 17-10 lead. Right now, let's pause for a word from your local station. We're ready to start the fourth quarter, and North Carolina State leading. Heavily favored Georgia Tech 17-10. Great day for Esposito so far. 13 out of 16, 131 yards. A very good controlled passing attack. And McIntosh has rushed for 110 yards. Here comes the blitz. They give it to McIntosh, and they stack him up at the line of scrimmage. And I think Georgia Tech may have to go back to more of that, more of the gambling defense to get something to happen. If you are having problems with your reception at home, it is because of satellite difficulties that should clear up in about a minute and a half all by themselves, so you don't have to do anything. It is a particular way the satellites are set up in space, and there is a North Carolina State defensive player down on the turf. And we're not going to try to point out who it is until we're sure of the number. There's Coach Tom Reed. And he's seen his club, Kevin, have quite a day. They have really done a job.
It's amazing how true to form NC State has played. The strength of their team is the offensive line and the backs, and that's what's carried them the entire day, and a great effort from the defensive line.
It's Johnny Smith, the left guard, a 260-pound junior. And he'll come off for a breather under his own power.
State at one time or another today will have 10 actual freshmen. That means a year out of high school, in and out of this game. Makes it even more amazing that they played as well as they have.
Big play here. 3rd and 1 at the Tech 30, out of the eye. McIntosh, the tailback. And he'll have the football. Leans in. Looked like he had the first down near the Tech 28-yard line. Center of the line, stacked him up. But he followed Ricky Isom, who doesn't carry the football very much, but he does a nice job blocking.
He also followed Kozar and Burnett and Malinicek over there, a 6'5", 295-pound tackle.
That's the guy I want to follow.
Yeah, that's right. You get behind him and he blocks the sun. The Tech defense took a running start on that play, trying to stop him, and still, I don't believe they did. It looked like he picked up the first down. They will measure, but he looked like he had it.
Spotted the ball just across the 29-yard line, and here is the measure. Stretch him out, and they've got it by the length of a football. First down, North Carolina State.
Right side, Burnett, 265, Malinicek, 295, and Isom. Number 33 makes the key block. McIntosh, as all good backs do, finds a little bit of a hole, and by about 3/4 of a football, a first down for State, a big one.
State leads 17-10. They are already within range for a fine field goal kicker by the name of Mike Copeland. Esposito wants to throw. He's got room to run if he chooses, and does. Now he's forced out of bounds. Took the hit from Cleve Pounds instead of just slipping out.
Mark Pike was in the game, number 39 for Georgia Tech. He got cut down at the corner, and that allowed Esposito to just roam to the top of the field, do what he had to do.
Gain of 3 for Esposito. Only averages about 1.5 yards a carry. He is not a runner. And that's Rollo Wortham, is the flanker back. That sets up in the slot. And they'll give it to McIntosh again. Just powering forward. Great effort by McIntosh to reach the 20-yard line. Tech had him stacked up. Mark Pike was in on the tackle that time. But that was a lot of just individual effort on the part of Joe McIntosh.
Leg drive from McIntosh. The one thing the other backs have not given him. He's got a little more power than both Green and Vince Evans, and he's showing it today.
3rd down, a little over 1 yard. Another big play. They come out in the eye. McIntosh, 117 yards rushing against the number 1 ranked defense in the conference. McIntosh again, first down. just inside the 18-yard line. Another good block by Isom and another good job by that front line from North Carolina State.
Number 1 ranked defense in the entire ACC. White shirts making holes all day. Malinicek, number 71, and here comes McIntosh. Look at 71 just pushing the black shirts back. McIntosh falls over his own man, or he's down the road.
And this is also the 8th-ranked defense in the country. Being pushed around pretty good right now by a North Carolina State team that is really pumped up. McIntosh, little delay counter inside the 10 to about the 9-yard line. Ted Roof, the first man there, and then gang tackled, but very close to another first down for NC State.
67, Larry Burnett, the right guard, left side of your screen on number 94. 67, he buries him, and McIntosh picks up good yardage inside the 10. Burnett made that play by himself. 67, right corner of your screen. Look where he ends up on this play, on top of the defender.
2nd and 2 inside the Tech 10-yard line. Wall in motion, but McIntosh will get the football to nearly the 5, and that will be good enough for another North Carolina State first down. Travis and Parker, the left end, in on the tackle. Another impressive drive for State as they go to their strength.
They go straight, is what you're saying. Straight to the goal line is what you wanted to say. Intimidation. When you play on the defense and the offense, you know, you're only inches apart just before the play. And a lot goes on in those couple of inches. A lot of things are said, a lot of looks. And after a while, when this is going on, you don't want to look at the offensive guy's face.
1st and goal. Ball spotted officially at the 6-yard line. McIntosh, big hole. Closed quickly as he got to the 2-yard line. And once again, it is Ted Roof. Fine junior inside linebacker.
Roof's the type of guy, he's not happy unless his nose is broken. On this play, kind of didn't get his nose in there, but he got his shoulder in there again behind Burnett and Malinicek. Good blocking. Kozar's done a great job at center. McIntosh, little woozy.
He's carried it 26 times, probably needs a breather, and now they'll go to that wishbone setup again, and Evans is in there. Evans with a football, dives, touchdown, North Carolina State. Big series for the Wolfpack with 11:17 to go in the ball game. They have taken a 13-point lead.
Big surprise. Play defense against the wishbone. If they get any space, you're dead. Is there room? You better believe it. Evans, a hole in the defense. He dives through it for a touchdown.
Looks like one of those things out of the circus where you go through the hoop that's on fire. Here comes the point after from Kofer, and he drills it straight through, and North Carolina State on top by 14 points with 11:17 to go.
Wishbone, 3 people in. First 2 guys block. They do the job. They get the black shirts low enough so that Evans can come over the top. He lands in the end zone. No question about that. The ball and the body over the plane. Evans has not run a great deal today. McIntosh has done most of the heavy work, but down near the end zone, Evans has been a factor.
And he has 2 touchdowns on the day. Timeout. We now pause for a word from your local station.
Chris Blackham with an update now from State College in Pennsylvania, where the Nittany Lions are out front of the Maryland Terps, but only by a score of 14-10.
Maryland and Penn State, that's been a very good rivalry over the years. Penn State normally getting the best of it, but this afternoon leading by 4.
Frank Reich is out of that game.
Stan Gelbach probably doing a good job. He came in last week, did a brilliant job coming off the bench. Sammy Lilly for Georgia Tech. They could use a big return. Lilly regains his balance and gets up to about the 26-yard line. That's a fine effort for that young man. Almost tripped up inside the 20. If he could have gotten his balance back just a little bit quicker, he had room to run.
This is great athletic ability. Lilly, if he could have got outside a little quicker, look at the white shirts as they just get a piece of him here. Just a piece of him. Lilly, great athletic ability just to keep his balance. Turn those shoulders upfield, Sammy. Too late. But a good return to the 25.
Georgia Tech needs 2 touchdowns, and they've only got 11 minutes and 10 seconds to get them. They'll start from their own 26-yard line. Newberry on the naked reverse. Throw sideline too high for Norton. Covered by Jeff Gethers.
13 plays, 84 yards for State, 454, a running drive, ate up almost 5 minutes. When State gets the ball back, Georgia Tech's going to be in trouble if they haven't scored any points.
A concerned Bill Curry looking on. His ball club 3-0 after including wins over Alabama and Clemson, ranked 11th in one poll, 12th in two others, and now in danger. Newberry sacked in the backfield, could not find a receiver, and it was Frank Bush, the first man to get him. Sandy Key, the nose guard, was also there.
Pressure defense all day by State. They're making Dewberry make decisions. He barely gets his feet set. Maybe could have stood in there a little bit longer. He has to make a decision to run. It's not a good one, and State catches him.
Third down, 11 yards to go. Big play here for Georgia Tech. 10.5 minutes left. Dewberry under pressure, and they've got him inside the 10-yard line. And it's Brian Bullock, a 238-pound sophomore with maybe the biggest play of his career, and the sack on John Dewberry.
Teams change when they're ahead and when they're behind. When you're ahead, you can dictate what goes on. When you're behind, they know you're going to throw the ball. State's coming out of the ground. They know he's going to throw. Good pressure. And that's the result right there. Dewberry never even a chance to set up.
Georgia Tech has to punt it away. A high floating kick, Bird coming up and will take it in great position at the Georgia Tech 37-yard line, and State already leading by 14 points. This could be some kind of upset at Grant Field in Atlanta. Back after this.
Okay, Chris Blackham again on the sidelines with an update from Richmond. The Wake Forest Demon Deacons, who were defeated last week, by Maryland, are on top of the Richmond Spiders by a score of 15-9 at halftime.
Thank you, Chris. Here's what we have to look forward to the rest of the month. Next week, North Carolina at Wake Forest and NC State at North Carolina. That shapes up as a good ball game. State with the football. Esposito chased out of the pocket, throws sideline, and completes it to his tight end, Ralph Britt. State has two purposes in mind right now, I can tell you. They want to eat up some time off the clock, and they would dearly love to get at least another 3 points. That could almost ice this ball game if Cofer can hit a field goal.
It's almost in range. It's a great call by Tom Reed and the offensive people. They've been running the ball at will on first down. They went with a pass, and it was wide open.
Gain of 5. Britt, the tight end, shifting to the weak side, the short side of the formation. Esposito again to throw sideline, and again complete. Got Brothers dancing around, still on his feet, reaches just about the 25-yard line. That will be good enough for a first down. Anthony Harrison had to make the tackle. And boy, they pulled it on him again.
Showing a lot of confidence in Esposito and his ability not to throw interceptions. Tech cannot be expected to cover this the way they've given up yardage on the run. They have to pinch inside. They have to be thinking run. Tom Reed knows that. He goes with the pass. It's open.
Ball spotted at the 25-yard line of Georgia Tech. First down, NC State. Wall in motion, McIntosh. Big hole inside the 20 to the 17-yard line. They get Vince Evans into the ballgame instead of McIntosh.
You may be asking, where are the black shirts? There they are before the ball snap. Let's see what happens. Big hole on the left side. A little pull there by the guard. Malinicek with a good block. And down the road they go. Tackle made by number 32, Lee Pounds. He makes a lot of tackles, but you don't want to make them downfield.
And Georgia Tech has to use a timeout, and that's something that could hurt them down the road with only 8:23 left. I don't think they had the defense out there they wanted, so they had to burn one of their 3 second-half timeouts. The clock stops with 8:23 to go. It's North Carolina State by 14. 8:23 left. The scoreboard at Grant Field in Atlanta, Georgia. And the Tech fans didn't think it was going to be this way. Neither did Bill Curry, although, Kevin, he told us this could very well happen to his young football team. 2nd and 2 for NC State. Evans is the tailback behind Isom, and Evans has the football. And a first down. He gets to the 10. Mike Travis, the left corner, had to make the stop. But North Carolina State now beginning to dominate.
Burnett and Malinicek on the right side. They both come down on the middle. The defense is just not getting there. Look at the black shirts as they back up. You can't back up on defense. You've got to come forward and meet it at the line or in the backfield of the offense. Not happening for the black shirts today.
Esposito has had an outstanding game at quarterback for North Carolina State. McIntosh well over 100 yards, and Evans in there now. A tailback has also run well. This time he stacked up after a gain of less than a yard as he just got inside the 10. Everyone for Georgia Tech in there. Swilling, the first man that hit him. Spencer is in there. Ivory Lee, the nose guard, also on the stop.
Tom Reed's got a problem. He's got 3 tailbacks that can run the ball up and down the field. Evans, McIntosh, and Joe Green. He uses them well, I think. He uses Evans inside when he gets inside the 10 and to spell McIntosh. And McIntosh showed me something today. I was wondering why they didn't start Evans. I think I know now.
That's right.
McIntosh is an outstanding back. Bill Curry coming down to earth today, I think, with his Georgia Tech team.
Second down, 9 yards to go. Georgia Tech needs to get the football. This is Evans. Body's pushing forward to about the 6-yard line. Lee is down there on the stop. Kevin Henderson. Clock is running. We're under 7 minutes. 6:54 and turning.
In the event that Georgia Tech does lose this game, one of the problems with being 3-0 is that first loss seems like such a large loss. When you're 3-8, they tend to be smaller, like last year, and it seems like a crushing loss. But this is a fine football team. These guys are gonna roll for the rest of the year. It's a pretty good football team.
North Carolina State has used one of its 3 second-half timeouts. And Esposito will go over to talk with head coach Tom Reed.
What a remarkable job they've done at Georgia Tech, rebuilding what they say a few years ago was a football program that needed to be rebuilt from the ground up. Homer Rice invented the triple option. I didn't know. He invented the triple option, and it was a great football.
And it's not even a rebuilding, to be honest about it. The football program is almost non-existent here. Almost down to the point where they either had to rebuild it, either had to rededicate an effort to it, or say, let's just skip it and get out of it altogether. And they got into the Atlantic Coast Conference, a team that had been in the Southeastern Conference for a long time and then been independent, got into the Atlantic Coast Conference, and of course, Georgia Tech is a great addition to the ACC in a great city of Atlanta. Their basketball program has done a great job, too, under Bobby Crump. Third down, 6. Flag goes down, and so does Evans at the 5. He was tripped up by Sammy Lilly.
Bad choice by Evans on that. It was open inside, maybe to the goal line, and he chose to go outside where he was tackled.
Check the flag for you. Preliminary signal is against North Carolina State, but it would bring up either 3rd and 11 or 4th and 5.
You saw Bill Curry.
Illegal procedure on the offensive team. Not enough men on the line of scrimmage. Refused. 4th down.
You saw Bill Curry wave his hands, decline it. They want him to get that field goal rather than go for the first down. It doesn't make any difference for Cofer, I don't think.
Not hardly. Not unless they penalize him another 40 yards. This will be a 22-yard attempt, and Georgia Tech has been sending a man flying in there from one side, from the lower side of your picture, trying to block him. He's come close a few times. Not this time. A flag goes down. Georgia Tech may have been offside. We'll check it as Cofer connects on the field goal. And it was against Georgia Tech. Desperately trying to block that kick. And they're going to turn this one down, I'll guarantee you.
Defense offside. Field goal's good. We're penalized on the kickoff. 5 yards.
Cofer with the field goal, and North Carolina State now leading it 27-10. Well, there's going to be some people shaking their heads around the Atlantic Coast Conference looking at this score.
What about the Atlantic Coast Conference? That's a good point. North Carolina in a battle with Clemson. That thing's even to this point. Virginia 3-1 going into today. Wake Forest, we've seen them twice. That's a good football team.
Maryland?
Maryland, of course, in a battle with Penn State, trailing by 4 as of just a few moments ago. And here's NC State, considered a weak link, and now they're beating the devil out of Georgia Tech.
Timeout with 6:18 left to go from Atlanta. NC State by 17.
Let's give you a corrected score from Richmond. We've got the Wake Forest Demon Deacons out in front of the Richmond Spiders. At halftime, it's 22-9.
Thank you, Chris. There's the scoring drive. A scoring drive that may have wrapped up this ball game that resulted in a 22-yard Koper field goal. It made it a 17-point lead, and all that means Georgia Tech has to score 3 times in the next 6:18. That is a tall order.
Especially since they've only scored twice already.
There is Koper. Young man has had a fine day. He is an excellent field goal kicker and a good kickoff man, too. Sammy Lilly, the deep man, now standing 5 yards deep in his end zone, and I doubt that Georgia Tech will down anything this time. If they can run it out, they'll run it out. Koper crushed this one and knocked it out of the end zone, and for the first time this year, we will see that penalty. The ball will come out to the 30-yard line, and I think Koper forgot he was kicking off from the 45 instead of the 40.
Think he's pumped up a little bit?
Just a little.
Let's go!
They changed the rules this year, trying to encourage kickoff returns instead of strong-legged kickers who could put the ball in the seats. That time, Koper got carried away and knocked it into the stand.
Still takes the ball out of Tech's hands on the kickoff return.
Sure does. Dewberry is back to throw. Quick sideline to Levette. Now they alley-oop it to Levette from Isom. And it didn't go anywhere as Benny Pegram was over there.
That play should work.
Sure should.
I mean, I'd be fooled by that. Hit and react. White shirts, they hit, and they've got enough people out here to stop it. Look at Pegram. He goes right by the receiver. That's playing defense with your eyes open. You keep them open, you run around, you see what's going on.
Gain of only 4 on that play. And here's the whistle. Tech may have taken too long to get this play off. And it's a procedure call against the Yellow Jackets. When things start to go wrong, they just steamroll a little bit, and that's been the case, especially in the second half with Georgia Tech.
They've had some turnovers. Dewberry has thrown some bad passes.
Hit ball, foul, illegal procedure on the offense. Second down. Hold it up, hold it up. I'll wind.
Second and 11. Dewberry back to throw. 3-man rush, and he is clobbered from behind, and it'll be ruled an incomplete pass.
That's a good call. His arm had started forward.
Dewberry clobbered by Benny Pegram.
White shirts have been everywhere today. Simply everywhere. They cover the receiver. Look as they get out on Levette, and then they pressure the passer. A remarkable effort by the North Carolina State defense, which was considered a weakness coming in. They've been a strength today.
We were told that was Singletary on the sack instead of Pegram, 91 and not 96. Third down, 11 yards to go. Dewberry again under pressure, has to dump it off and easily can't hold the football. Pegram is over there right in his face.
Have to throw that ball harder. I'd have been scared to death out there, easily standing there with the defense looking at him, and he lofted it out there. Dewberry, one criticism I have of Dewberry today, a lot of his passes have been a little bit off the mark, kept the receiver from going upfield a little bit with it, and that pass was a setup to get his chin knocked off.
Snow will come in to punt, and Jeff Bird is waiting at the 34-yard line. 5:33 to go. North Carolina State with maybe its biggest win ever under Tom Reed, almost in the bag, leading 27-10. Coaching is a very difficult profession, Kevin. People are always on your back no matter what your philosophy is. If you don't win, they're not going to like you a whole lot, and they're not going to give your program a lot of money or a lot of support. And this is going to help Tom Reed up in Raleigh a whole lot.
And it shouldn't hurt Bill Curry, I would hope, down here in Atlanta.
I would hope not. Because the job he has done down here has been absolutely magnificent. North Carolina State with the football at their own 37. Now give it off to Green, who was in at tailback, and he reaches the 45-yard line. Kevin Henderson on the tackle. No loss of intensity, that offensive line of North Carolina State. And there they're huddled around their coach.
A.B. Richards, number 55, was 25 yards downfield. He's an offensive tackle. He was in the middle of that pileup.
2nd and 3. Ison, the fullback. Green, the tailback. They do bring some tailback to North Carolina State. This is Green on the little delay, laying in wait for him, the center of the Georgia Tech defense. Ivory Lee was in there. See, getting up off the pile, Kevin Henderson, number 45. Make it 3rd and 2. The ball spotted at the state 46-yard line, and Esposito goes back to the huddle with his ball club. While we have the chance, I'd like to thank our statisticians, Mike Wood this afternoon, our spotter Bob Langford, and our stage manager Nicky Nichols. Keeping me straight up here in the booth. 4:19 to go in the ballgame. Fumble by Esposito, and he got it back. Kind of a break Georgia Tech really had to have was to pick up a loose football, and things are not going their way in the second half.
State has been remarkably mistake-free today. These types of mistakes. This would have been a big play, but as so often happens when the ball's bouncing to you, it bounces to you. And it did for Esposito. Tom Reed holding his head, maybe got a little headache on that play, holding his ear, or maybe listening to upstairs. What do you hear from upstairs? Probably good things right now.
I would imagine.
Somebody asked me that the other day. I've never been a coach with a headset on, but I would imagine that they do similar to what I'm doing now. They'll sit and they'll talk about what's going on the field, who's open, who's not open, who's dominating. They feed that to the head coach because he's on the sideline and he doesn't have that good of a view.
When things are going well, you probably hear a lot, and when they're not going real well, there's probably a lot of silence upstairs.
So look at that Wolf there. It's a hot day. What do you think is going on inside that suit? Probably pretty nasty in there.
Marty Martinez will punt, and Daryl Norton, the 5'9" senior, waiting at the 20. Yeah, that's warm weather gear. I mean, that's cold weather gear right there.
What do they make wolf suits out of? I hope it's not polyester.
You'd think it'd be sheep, wouldn't you? Georgia Tech with 10 men on the line of scrimmage, and they're coming. They don't get there, and Martinezson unloads. Just kicked the air out of it into the end zone. Not only did he get it off quick, it just kept going. You don't think he's happy? Here's a young man who has not had a chance to play all year long. They let him in the second half of this ball game, and he has some happy teammates.
He just won the job back with that kick. Talk about satellites in the wrong position. He almost hit one of them.
4:05 to go in the ball game, and it's North Carolina State with what to some people is going to be just a stunning upset. 27-10 over Georgia Tech. Tech came in ranked first in offense, first in defense in the league, nationally ranked in almost every category. Here's Dewberry on the scramble, trying to find some place to go, and wrapped up as he got to the sideline. Tough day for Dewberry. Benny Pegram, who was, ever since he was injured and they had to help him off the field, when he came back, he has really done a great job since then.
All right, this is why Dewberry has to pull the ball down. Number one, running down the field. Looks like he's open, but he's not. And Dewberry really doesn't have a chance. There's a shadow for you, a couple of shadows. Dewberry hasn't even had a chance to go back and stand there and look downfield before the white shirts have pressured him.
Really
has. Been a big problem for him. Really hasn't.
And North Carolina State will be the beneficiary of this penalty. Let's check it out.
Holding on the offense. The penalty was enforced. Spot of the foul. First down.
So Georgia Tech deeper in a hole, although it's an academic pursuit right now with 3:55 to go and down by 17 points. They have the ball at their own 6. There's McIntosh, who had a great day for North Carolina State. Dewberry hustles it out over the 20 to about the 23-yard line before he's rolled to the ground. Brian Bullock chasing him.
There's a quarterback draw. No thought of throwing the ball on that play. Took a step back and went upfield. Worked pretty well.
Hurry up offense, 2nd and 9. 3-man rush. Dewberry has time this time. Throws complete to Norton. Gathers with him at the 40-yard line. Norton's a good-looking wide receiver. Young man caught a few balls today. 5'9" senior.
This game could help Tech. Curry was worried yesterday when we spoke to him about the effect of the 3-0 record. Tech needed to be brought down a notch. He felt it was hard to hold his people down.
I don't think he'd want to think they needed to be brought down quite this far. Wilkins on the catch. Make it Pearson.
What you can't do in practice sometimes happens in the game. Unfortunately, you have control of your practice and not the game. Well, no need for play action here. State knows exactly what's going on, but they run it anyway. Dewberry getting to the line of scrimmage, giving the defense a little thought that he might run. That brings him up, and the receiver gets open and he hits it. 1st and 10 at the State 40-yard line. Dewberry to throw again, this time over the middle, and it's Wisenhunt, the tight end, and he's going to go all the way. A 40-yard touchdown pass from Dewberry to Wisenhunt. Got a couple of nice downfield blocks, and it's touchdown, Georgia Tech. That play's been open all day. Wisenhunt's been running around loose down there, but Dewberry never had a chance to turn around and find him. On that particular play, they gave him a little bit of room, and he was able to get into the end zone.
Wisenhunt, big guy, 230 pounds.
Wisenhunt's the guy that's got the 5th year. We talked about January 26th. He was ready to go to an NFL camp. Instead, he found out he'd be here another year.
Now they'll go for 2. Easily, the lone remaining running back. They have Levette on a corner. Dewberry, it throws short, and a flag is down. We're going to have an interference call, I believe, against North Carolina State, as they were throwing for Gary Lee in the end zone. Green was very close to him on defense, and we'll check the penalty. And it's interference against Georgia Tech.
Offensive pass interference. Lost him down. The point's no good.
Fella needs to smoke a cigar, get his voice down a little bit, a little high. Wisenhunt, number 9, open down the middle. Franklin short, number 48, couldn't get his hand up high enough. And Wisenhunt, as you said, Mike, picked up a few blocks and gets into the end zone. Wisenhunt is no Petunia. Hey, this guy's a big guy, 6'3", 230 pounds. Dewberry had a chance to set up there. He sets up strong. And Franklin, the little guy, number 48, just couldn't get up high enough to get his hand on the ball. And from there, it's a good run. This guy is a pro prospect and was going to go to an NFL rookie camp the day after he was told he had another year of eligibility here at Georgia Tech. Ken Wisenhunt, that's his 5th year. He could get 5 letters in football. Was the quarterback of record when Tech tied Notre Dame a few years ago, 3-3. He was a quarterback, played a lot of positions. He's an excellent athlete.
Highly recruited quarterback in high school, and has become a tight end here at Georgia Tech. There's the story with 3:10 left. The spread is 11 points. And Georgia Tech will more than likely go for the onside kick here as the crowd comes to its feet. Right now, let's pause 5 seconds for station identification.
WSB-TV, Channel 2, Atlanta.
Onside kick. Don't try to pick it up. Just fall on it. That's what they tell you when you're on the receiving team.
Nick Romanis will try the onside kick. It's not going to go 10 yards. It goes out of bounds. It's got to go 10 yards before the offensive team can receive it, or it's got to touch an offensive player. Rather, it has to go 10 yards before the defensive team can receive it.
Or it's a penalty.
Correct. Now, North Carolina State getting the options. Preliminary signal is illegal procedure because the ball was kicked out of bounds.
They will decline it. They get the ball.
That's right.
Offsides on the kicking team, and also a kick out of bounds, illegal procedure. Kicking team declined. First down.
So North Carolina State will have the football with 3:10 to go. The only gamble Georgia Tech could go for, the onside kick. They still need 2 more scores, and State lining up in a hurry. And Georgia Tech has got to get its other players off the field. And they do. Esposito with Green, the tailback behind him. That's Worthen in motion. Give it to Green. Plows into the center of the line, down to about the 42, stacked up.
This point of the game, here's a scoring drive. 4 plays, 80 yards, very impressive drive. Of course, the 40-yard pass to Wisenhunt from Dewberry didn't hurt. Brings them within 11. This point in the game, the offensive back, after the game, his forearm looks like a road map from everybody scratching at him, trying to get the ball. It can be really a physical time for a running back.
2nd and 9. Green gained a yard on the last carry. Esposito wants to throw and overthrows Worthington. No, Jeffries. Little surprised that they would throw the football in that situation. As a matter of fact, I'm very surprised they would throw.
There's a man who surprised Bill Curry. He said, what do we have to do here? You know Tech is stacking against the run. I guess Emory does too, but it's a matter of time.
That's right.
They still need 2 plays, 2 scoring plays to get back and win this game. 2:29 to go. You have to wonder.
They stopped the clock on that play, and it could give Georgia Tech an extra 30 seconds if they can get the football back. May not be a factor, and then again, it could be. Flag is down, and it's procedure against State.
Wondering about procedure. They didn't snap the ball. I think it was too much time. They've been getting in and out of the huddle very quickly today.
Dead ball, foul, illegal procedure. Someone got in neutral zone. 3rd down.
Saying someone, it must have been the man in motion, Haywood Jeffries. They said he was in the neutral zone.
Well, remember, though, you have to be set for 1 second. Doesn't really matter. Well, that's interesting.
3rd and 13. Clock stopped with 2:27 to go. And Esposito will give it off on the draw play to his tailback. McIntosh, loose football. And Georgia Tech has it at the 44-yard line. Georgia Tech recovers the fumble with 2:21 to go. And this baby may not be over yet. Sammy Lilly, the man who recovered.
I told you it was a physical time for running backs. Here's a physical shot. Whoa.
Oh.
Again, what number? That's Roof, I think, or Anderson, number 91, that made the hit. And now this ball, great thing about a football, see, it's not round. It can go anywhere. Drive you crazy here. Sammy Lilly is the one that gets a handle on it. It looks like he may have landed on it and knocked the wind out of him.
Somebody then landed on him. Big recovery for Georgia Tech. They have the football at their own 44-yard line. Time is their biggest enemy. They're down by 11 with 2:21 to go. They still need 2 scores, so they need to score here and then try another onside kick.
That was Jim Anderson. 6'1", 230 made that hit, the linebacker. Super hit. Super hit.
Right now, let's go down to Chris Clackham for a score update. Chris?
Yeah, what we got right now, Mike, is an update in the Penn State-Maryland game. The Nittany Lions are still out in front of the Maryland Terps by a score of 25-18. The game's in the 4th quarter.
Tough place to play up there. The Georgia Tech sideline and the crowd trying to get their ball club fired up. Lilly being helped off the field. Looks like he's all right. I think he'll be fine. He may be late for the dance tonight, though.
Lilly has been a cheerleader all day, been standing out on the field, waving his arm, getting the fans cranked up, and nothing got him more cranked up than that fumble recovery.
Big series here with 2:21 to go. Georgia Tech needs to strike in a hurry.
Watch Wisenhunt and Levette downfield.
Lee, the flanker, back in motion. Dewberry, quarterback draw. Gets out of bounds at the 47-yard line. They must have thought they spotted something there that could give them a big gain in a hurry, but whatever they spotted disappeared in the same amount of time.
Not a bad call, except for the risk that from the center of formation, Dewberry would take too long or not be able to get out of bounds. That's a big thought there. But I think what they saw was the middle guard for State picking sides on the center, Davis. And if he picked one side, Dewberry was going to go the other way.
Right now, Andy Hearn is in at that center spot, number 54, Davis. If you remember, he hurt his arm or wrist earlier in the ballgame. Dewberry wants to throw again over the middle. Wisenhunt again to the 28-yard line. Wisenhunt, same pattern that he ran before. Dwayne Green made the tackle. The clock stopped with 2:09 to go. Here is the hurry-up offense. Oh, this could be a great finish. Dewberry to throw again. This time with a little time, has to run. Cut down as he got to the 19. The clock running. 1:58 left. Frank Bush tripped him up. Tech in that hurry-up offense. Now the referee will stop the clock because the ball is loose.
Haven't heard much from Frank Bush today, but he's the best athlete on the defense. He showed you why there with a super tackle.
Dewberry calling the plays at the line of scrimmage. We're inside 2 minutes. Dewberry to Easley. Easley to about the 17-yard line, forced out of bounds. It'll be another first down. More importantly, it stops the clock with 1:43 left. Reggie Singletary ran him out of bounds.
Levette on that play, they went to the short man. They ran easily short and Levette down the sideline. And with Wisenhut doing what he's doing on the other side, they're putting some pressure on the state pass defense.
Ball just outside the 16. First and 10. Georgia Tech, 1:43 left. The Yellow Jackets down by 11. Dewberry for the end zone and overthrown. Tried to hit Pearson. Had him in the corner.
Frank Bush made the play. Frank Bush came in and deflected that pass, was in Dewberry's face. It's amazing how you don't hear about these guys, and then down the game gets a little close, and all of a sudden Frank Bush starts to make his presence felt. Hogs is the offensive line. A lot of hogs in the ACC. That's the HAWGS. I guess a play off the Dogs from Georgia. The offensive line's name is the Hogs.
Dewberry on second down from the North Carolina State 16-yard line. Time to throw sideline complete. Hit his tight end, Gary Wilkins. And once again, the clock stops with 1:34.
Dewberry wanted to go downfield on this play. 1:34 to go. Dewberry, look at Dewberry look downfield. He's looking. A great checkoff here. He hesitates and bang, he gets the ball to the receiver by the sideline for a timeout. That was an excellent checkoff by Dewberry.
Third down and 3. And they're going to run the ball with Easley. Tried to cross him up. It didn't really work. He's probably going to have the first down. Raymond Phillips made the tackle.
Well, in college football, Mike, the first down stops the clock. It's a good call by Tech. They get the first down, they stop the clock.
Dewberry on first and goal from the 5. Lost the ball, tossed to Levette. Levette cuts it back inside. Great move by Levette. Touchdown. What a move by Robert Levette. Holy cow.
What a move by Georgia Tech. 2 touchdowns.
Oh, Levette just showed you why he is a great running back. He made a cut on a dime on AstroTurf, gave him a nickel change and 6 points. And now they'll go for 2. It's 27-22. Tech could pull within 3 points. Levette is the tailback. Fake to Easley. Dewberry in trouble. Look at this scramble. He's got Levette wide open. And it'll be picked up. The interception is not going to make any difference. You cannot score defensively on this play. The pickoff was by Dwayne Green. Levette was open, wide open for a minute, and Green really hustled over there to cover it. Tech has closed within 5 with 1:20 to go. Hold on.
Robert Levette, a great call by the Georgia Tech offensive people. They have time to run the ball, and Levette gets in. A good move, as Mike said. Tremendous athletic ability by Levette. We'll see it again here. Number 20. Let's watch number 44 easily. Let's not watch. 1:20 to go. 27-22. Now, they missed 2 two-point conversions. The net result of that is a field goal won't win it for them. That's how big the extra point is.
Let's go down to Chris real quick.
Okay, Mike, we've got another update from Death Valley. Just about 9 minutes left to go in this game. The North Carolina Tar Heels are out in front of Clemson, 6-3. The state of North Carolina is doing pretty well today.
Thank you, Chris. And Kevin, you said North Carolina with a lot of talent. By the time we got to this point in the season, they'd be showing it.
Awesome talent. The last team to beat Clemson in Death Valley 21 games ago, North Carolina. They have a 21-game winning streak at home, and if you've ever been there, you know why. It's a tough place to play. Apparently, Carolina knows what to do in Clemson.
There's the man of the moment, David Bell. He will try the onside kick with 1:20 to go. This would rank as one of the great comebacks in the history of not Georgia Tech, but college football. They were down 17 points just a couple of minutes ago.
They don't need to get this onside kick. I believe they have a couple of timeouts left. They don't need to get it. 2 timeouts left. They want to keep this ball in play towards the middle of the field. Make the defense make a decision.
Here's Bell. It goes 10 yards. Is it loose? It looks like North Carolina State has gotten it. The flag has gone down.
Well, what they think they're going to call here is that it did go 10 yards, but State has the option of coming up and getting it after it goes 7 or 8 or 9 yards.
And if they touch it, there's no flag involved.
Right, absolutely. What they tell you, I played on that team, the onside receiving team.
And State has the football.
What they tell you to do is fall on the ball. Just fall on it. Don't try to pick it up.
Disregard the flag. No penalty.
This is an excellent play by the receiver. He goes to his knees, and they fall on it. 2 or 3 of them, and that's exactly what you're supposed to do with an onside kick. Don't get fancy, because the other team's going to try and blast you as soon as you touch it.
Here's the story. 1:17 left. Georgia Tech can stop the clock twice. So State will be able to run off some time. The last possession, McIntosh fumbled, and Georgia Tech got it back. This time they'll protect the ball as best they can as Tech goes for it. Stack him up in the center, and they'll use their first timeout. Ted Roof, the first man to hit him. 1:09 left in the game. Georgia Tech down by 5. And Bill Curry looking calm and collected as he has been throughout the entire ball game. I'd like to put a fluoroscope on him and see inside, though.
Well, those last 2 touchdowns meant so much to the Georgia Tech program, because I think there's some skepticism about how fine a team, about how fine a team they have at Georgia Tech. And remember last week, they lost a 21-point lead, but they showed the type of guts that a football team needs to have. They came back and won that game after it was tied. They've done the same thing here. They look like they were out of the ball game, and bang, a touchdown, and then this drive, 8 plays, 56 yards, 1 minute and 1 second, and they got in an interesting way. 2 running plays. They had enough presence of mind to go in with 2 running plays with less than 2 minutes to go.
And the scoring drive that preceded that only took 55 seconds. They may have gotten a late start, but they're trying to make up for it.
Great foundation here at Tech. Just great foundation. Very solid program. These guys have a lot of pride in their team, and that's what happens when you come back late. It shows pride, determination.
2nd and 9. 1:09 left. Georgia Tech with 1 timeout remaining. They can stop the clock just once more. They'll give it to Evans, trying to get outside, and they'll roll him over as he reaches the 47-yard line. And Tech will not use its timeout now. They'll wait till after 3rd down, and the clock will tick away.
And State will probably take a penalty. Yeah, that was an interesting call, too. That looked like a counter or a little bit of a draw. And if you get the longer the play takes, the more possibilities you have of something going wrong. It seems to me that maybe straight handoffs are in order here.
3rd down, 8 yards to go. The clock ticking away. We're inside 40 seconds. Look for Esposito just to fall on the football. Going as long as he can, waiting for the officials to signal, and then he goes down. Esposito hits the knee. Clock continues to run. It's down to 19 seconds. Somebody's got to call timeout. The scoreboard indicating Georgia Tech has a timeout left, but the scoreboard must be wrong, because Georgia Tech is not calling timeout, apparently cannot, and that is going to be the last play of the ball game. And North Carolina State has pulled off a big upset. Tom Reed being mobbed by his ball club, and that gentleman deserves a lot of credit for what happened today. He really did a good coaching job, Kevin. He threw a lot of wrinkles at Georgia Tech on their offense, and his defense really pumped up. And Bill Curry and Tom Reed shake hands at midfield. Great job by NC State.
Offensively, you're right, Mike. They crossed them up a little bit, but basically they ran that straight power running game with McIntosh doing most of the work up the middle. Defensively, it was a matter of emotion. Very aggressive, hit, go to the ball. They did exactly that. Took Robert Levette out of the game very early. Although he rushed for 100 yards, he did not rush for big yardage when it meant something. When they were trying to come back, he was picking up yardage, but Levette was taken out of the game early, and that kind of crippled the Georgia Tech attack.
The final score is 27-22. North Carolina State with a big upset win. Let's pause for a word from your local station. It's 27-22, the final. North Carolina State over Georgia Tech. And Chris Clackham is down on the sidelines with a very happy man, Tom Reed of North Carolina State. Chris, you might ask him, Kevin and I have been conjecturing if this has not been the biggest win since he has been at North Carolina State. And you might ask him that. Let's get down to Chris Clackham and Coach Tom Reed.
That's right, Mike, and I think that is a great first question. Is this your biggest win since being at North Carolina State?
I think it's a very obvious question. Without a doubt, it is the biggest win we've had. It's something we had to do. We came back in the fourth quarter last week, and we hung on to win this one, and I can't tell you how happy I am for our players and the coaches. Who've done just an outstanding job.
How much hair did you lose there in the final minutes of this game with Georgia Tech coming back the way they did?
Well, it's just one of those things. I lost a lot, but I'll be wide awake for 2 days, but I won't feel a bit of pain.
Let me ask you something. We talked before this game got underway. You told me Joe McIntosh would not start, but he would play. You said, Chris, we got to get this guy going slow. Okay, we got to start him off slow. I think you forgot to tell Joe McIntosh that.
Well, Joe, by slow, I mean we weren't going to put him in right away. We're going to let him get his, nerves down a little bit, relax the muscles because of the pulled hamstring, and then get in there and play. And he did an outstanding job for not running for almost 3 weeks.
So does he look like he would start next week against Maryland?
Possibly, but we got Vince and Joe Green too, and that's a very pleasant situation to have with those 3 backs, and they all are different, so they give us a little bit of something different.
Now, I know that a lot of your credit here goes to the offense, but I think your defense was the real key to this game.
Well, I think it was a total effort. I think the offense and the defense both played splendidly. I mean, we got field position, we scored, we controlled the ball. I think both of them deserve an awful lot of credit.
You've got Maryland next week, North Carolina State after that one. North Carolina, and that one's going to be on TV. Coach, again, congratulations on a super win.
Well, thank you, Chris. I just can't tell you how happy we are. I really can't.
General Tom Reed of the North Carolina State Wolfpack. Back upstairs to Mike Patrick and Kevin Kite.
Thank you, Chris. And Tom Reed, a very happy man, and he deserves to be, as Wolfpack goes to 1-1 in the Atlantic Coast Conference, 3-2 overall. We'll be back with more from Grant Field in Atlanta, Georgia, right after this. Final 27-22, North Carolina State over Georgia Tech. McIntosh, one of the stars of the ball game, as you heard Tom Reed praising him, 138 yards in 27 carries. And it's tough when